Good evening, all, and welcome to United Real Therapy. I'm your co-host Jarvis, and we have Luani with me, but Noradin, he will be joining us soon. Same will Boombaye. Sorry for the wait. Noradin is running a little bit late, so I will be your PE teacher, or what do you call it, the assistant for the evening. I hope you're all well. And yes, we will have a Saeed TV raid, guys. So thank you, everybody, and welcome on board. Welcome on board. For the new arrivals, Nuruddin will be joining us in I will say 5 minutes time. So don't worry, you won't have old Jarvis and United trucker Lavani all the time. And Boumaye will also be joining us, and we will have the debate. We will have the debate on Harry Maguire and the contract extension. And there's also been some updates, some news, some interviews from our owner, Sir Jim Ratcliffe. I would say dreadful statements from the old man, and we'll probably go through it all, but I will wait with that one until Nuruddin comes. So I think, first of all, Luan and I can start, and I want to say thank you to everybody coming in the Saeed raid. Thank you, everybody. Smash the like for Nuruddin and United Real Therapy, and guys, thank you everybody for tuning in, and do us a favor, smash a like, and please do us also a favor and subscribe if this is your first time on the channel. I see a lot of people have tuned in already. We have Kadeen Thomas, we have King Sobot, we have Jamie Wayne is in the house, Tualumba Piri, all of you guys, big up, big up, big up, big up. Good to see you. So let's get into it, guys. 5 minutes, Nuruddin will be here, and thank you, Saeed, for the raid. Lavani, how are you, my friend? How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. So yesterday's game, we didn't get our fifth win in a row. We ended with a draw against relegation fodder West Ham. And, there was a lot of disappointments. And Noradin, he came out hard yesterday after the game. And he didn't like what he saw. And he said Carrick didn't do his job well. So what's your thoughts on yesterday's discussions and debates?
Yeah, I know a lot of people were disappointed by the result yesterday, but I'll be honest with you. This is we should expect. Good evening, Bubaye.
Good evening, brother.
So I think we can win every game. So and the fact that we didn't lose yesterday, if lesson have to be learned for the manager, at least it didn't cost us a result. So let's take the 1 point, and hopefully Carrick make his adjustment, and we can move on to the next game. That's the most important.
Yeah, but we all, by the way, big up Boombaye and welcome to the show. Noradin will be joining us soon. He's, I will just check my WhatsApp, but I think he's just around the corner. But Boombaye, how do you feel after yesterday's game? Now, when you had 24 hours
I felt all right after the game. I felt that the players didn't play up to the levels that they could have done. A low block, to me, is not easy to break down. We've seen, great teams struggle against low blocks. If you watched the Arsenal game against Wolves, they just couldn't do anything, and they got lucky in that game, got some points. It's not easy to break down a team that has decided we are not going to lose. That's the main thing today. Don't follow the men, stay in the 18-yard box. We crossed the ball, 23 crosses. A lot of them were shit. They didn't beat the first man. They were over the whole 18-yard box, terrible. So even if you had somebody in there, the quality of the deliveries was awful. The passing, very safe, I felt. There were so many opportunities from Luke Shaw, Mbeumo, Ahmad, Kobe Mainu. Those four stick out in my mind. Passes to set us away, they stopped, took the easy pass. So the players, for me, had the problem. A lot of people are basing their reproach of Michael Carrick because he didn't bring on Benjamin Sesko earlier. I was weighing it up, to be honest. But I felt that sacrificing Brian and Buemo for Sesko would take away from us defensively. If you looked at the heat map of Mbeumo, he
Yeah.
was everywhere. And in the first half, there was a moment, for example, where he's the furthest guy on the left back. So he was helping us a lot because West Ham were camped in their box and they still posed a danger with Bowen, with Somerville. And if they're away, it's going to be a problem because Martinez was playing in their half. Maguire, almost the fullbacks were in their half when we had a lot of the ball. So you have to weigh it up a little bit. Sesko came on and got his goal. If that is the main criticism, then I forgive Carrick. But I think the reaction was really bad from a lot of people. He's shit. Ahmad's done. This is ridiculous. They've just give us 4 amazing games. West Ham is fighting for relegation. And one thing about this manager, the only thing about this manager, he knows how to shut out teams. He did it at Wolves. He did it at Nottingham Forest, although they were better at breaking going forward. He did it yesterday. So for me, it's not a major issue. And you're going to get to see what we do against the low block, maybe with Everton, with Brentford. There will be solutions to these things. If the players had played better, with a bit more uninhibited, taking those risks, it's like, it wasn't a good performance. Could you tell me, we've been on this podcast for the last 4 weeks, me, you, Luwani, Nuruddin, who's your man of the match? We've got like 3-4 candidates. Who played well yesterday? I can't tell you really.
Mainu for me, I think Mainu he didn't drop in level. I think Mainu put in a performance as he have done against Spurs and all the other teams, but he didn't have the outlets in Bruno, and there weren't any space. And I also felt the energy level. I saw Marcel talking about this on Said's show earlier today, but the energy levels of the players. And I went through a lot of my clips. I analyzed the game afterwards, and I could see that. I could see a lot of players actually just cheating, cheating a couple of yards, just waiting, not being in the right place at the right time. For instance, I remember one of our attacks, our only good attack in the first half, when Luke Shaw and Bruno set up, and Luke Shaw was running through and cut inside. He had Ahmad on his left-hand side. He gave the ball to Ahmad, and Ahmad got a shot off, but he was blocked by Mavropanos. But on the right-hand side, and Mbumo started at the same counter-attack, only jogging. If that was a full energy attack as we are been used to now for the last couple of weeks, you would see Mbumo coming in 100 million miles in an hour, and just running that ball in and being a part of that attack. So I felt that a lot of these players didn't have the energy level needed. And also, if you go and look at a goal, you can see the same thing. You see when Souček scores, we have Dalot. His back is on Somerville, but Dalot, he didn't even jog at the beginning. When Luke Shaw lost the ball, Dalot was way, way, way up the pitch. He didn't smell the danger, and he was just waiting, for hopefully that we will win the ball. So a lot of these players, they cheated in this game. They didn't have that.
I was watching the first half. I wasn't keeping my eye on the ball. I was trying to look, what are we trying to do to dislodge this? 2 things. I think Ahmad and Cunha, I don't know if you noticed, there was some very good runs in behind. Not once did we even attempt that pass. Go back and watch the first half, you'll see. Good runs in behind, well timed, nothing. Kobbie Mainoo, bro, he switches off for the goal. I felt Cobbs yesterday had the opportunities to make certain passes, played it safe for me. Luke Shaw again, big one. There was a moment where Dalot is completely free on the right hand side. Cobbs doesn't make the pass. Another moment where it's Brian and Mbeumo. Ahmad's totally free on the right hand side. Doesn't even see the pass. It's so simple. Luke Shaw, many a times, why are you not using the overlap? It was poor. It was too safe for me. They lacked courage yesterday, and I think maybe they became inhibited because they couldn't get into the rhythm of the game. Maybe they started to lose faith that we're going to break this team down. No, man, you have to be strong. You have to play.
But Boombaye, let me just show you. I'm not going to play the clip. It's Noradin channel, so I'm not taking the risk for him to get any stick for this. But if you look at this situation here, you have Luke Shaw coming through. I don't know if you remember this from the first half. Luke Shaw, he cut inside, and you have Ahmad on the left hand side, and up into the right hand corner you can see the legs of Brian Mbeumo. And Mbeumo there, and I would say in any other game you would see Mbeumo bombing
get
on.
the ball. Yeah, you should bomb on.
Look at him now.
He's
just jogging. He's stopping. He's not making an option, for Luke Shaw. Yeah. He's just waiting. This is not the counter-attack energy that we have been used to have been seeing. Look at Mbeumo. He was in front of Luke Shaw when we started, and now he's level or behind him. He wasn't bothered in that counter-attack. And
if you play this on
a lot of players.
Yeah, I understand that 100%.
So you get my point. This is not trying to single out Mbeumo on yesterday's game.
No.
This went from all of the players. This is the drop of energy in the players that I'm.
Jarvis, if we were to just look at this clip again, if Luke Shaw forces Mbeumo's run by making the pass into that diagonal pass there, into like the bigger box, force him to make the run. We've seen that before. This pass now, if you play it on, let me see this pass to Ahmad. Is it the quality of passing was shit yesterday?
The pass is okay, but Mavropanos is on him right away. So there's not much that he can do. Usually you want to come with people on both sides. You have options. Make it difficult.
Me, I'm not even going on in on the individual players or the manager because. I'm very wary of preconceived notion in terms of Carrick. We as fan base, we usually don't find the balance. Those who love Carrick and his appointment could find anything wrong in the 4 games, in the 5 games that we just have. That's fine. And those who didn't want him appointed, who are also waiting for the opportunity to criticize him when it comes to this particular game that we didn't lose, by the way. The reality is that low blocks works, and I maintain what I said. I have yet to see a system in the world that can unlock a low block. I've seen Pep sit down with his coaching staff and just sit down there, just completely didn't want to get involved in the game anymore because it's a low block in front of him, and there's nothing else he can do. He was counting on the quality of his players. Same thing about Klopp. 2 of the biggest managers of their generation. Klopp come in press conference after press conference. He would come and denounce. He would say the team that he played today didn't come and play football. And I remember exactly how salty he was. And also Luis Enriquez, PSG, one of the best team that moved the ball last year, go against Chelsea and boom, 3 times they concede 3 goals on the break, just like that. Game over. So you will tell me Klopp, Pep and Enriquez are not the best tacticians. Low block work, and it's just one of those games. The only issue I have is that the only thing we've seen coming when we have analyzed the 3 games, the Fulham game, the Tottenham game, the 25 minutes against Tottenham, and this game is there is a worry that teams are playing through our press. And if you don't have press play is an integral part of modern football. If you don't have your press play in place and you want to opt for structural defending only mid-block, you will still be susceptible. And that's the part that worries me the most. It's not the fact that we can play against low block. Nobody can play against low block until you build up certain automatism in the team that is linked to individual quality of the players and the chemistry that they build between themselves in training. And that takes a lot of time. You can't just get that in 5 games. So this is not even on the players. Yes, as for the energy level, yes, when you're facing a low block, you have an element of you have to be patient. Depending on what player you have on the ball, you have to be patient to be able to break it down. That's why some of our players yesterday looked like they were not trying hard because they were trying to find solution that they did not, that chemistry that they did not develop in training. They have to think, look at the rounds and make the pass if that pass exists. So
I felt we were flat. I will. I think it's a collection. Of course, you give West Ham some credit, but the
Yeah.
lack of quality from Manchester United only exacerbated that. If Manchester United, I felt, played with more risk, there was better quality, even just the crossing, man. You know, like that
Yeah.
as well. You're saying that they cheated. These things collectively um, are going to only make West Ham's job a little bit easier. So it was a combination, but I don't. I'm asking myself, what could Carrick? Let's put Sesko substitution just for a second aside. Let's concede that point. Although I think it's certainly a discussion to be had whether you should bring Sesko on immediately because you're thinking we can hit him into the box. The crosses were dreadful, dreadful.
Mm.
Well, all the balls were awful,
There's
and
a
the balls
chat.
that came
Somebody in the
in
chat.
were, and the balls that came in. Lots of times, balls that came, players weren't attacking the ball. We had 3 players in the box many times. They're not attacking the ball. It's too comfortable for West Ham. So, what could Carrick have actually done structurally, strategically? I'm asking. I want to learn. I don't know. It's a low block. We have the quality to unlock it, but we played shit
No,
collectively. I don't think there
I
was
don't
any.
think he could have done anything, Boumbaye. The thing is that
Yeah.
the thing is that when you play against low block,
Mm.
you basically rely on the quality of your players. Somebody saying in the
That's what I
chat that
think.
you can break low block with passing pattern. Yes, but the passing pattern I've seen break down low block is short passes and 1-2. And
Yeah.
that is literally the players that have to make that call
Yes.
when they're on the ball. The
And
player
they
have the
can.
trigger. They can make that call. They can, but in order to be able to develop those 1-2, it takes time. They have to play with each other in training and build that chemistry. Because those short passing 1-2, it is not something that you design on a board that you can just come and apply. It's not based on an execution. It's very instinctive. That's why those work.
I think one thing that Carrick has done, in my opinion, that Amorim, that is a change from Amorim, and Bruno alluded to this after the Tottenham game. He's given the players some level of trust, to trust the quality of the players. And I went into this game thinking, yeah, okay, West Ham, it's not a sure banker, but I was confident the quality of the players, of Cobbs, linking with Bruno, with Brian, with Cunha, with the guys on the wings, with the quality of Martinez in the first half, who I thought was very good. It was actually starting the plays. Personally, that's what I felt. We should be able to create and cause problems. It was very flat. So this is why Carrick's not perfect. I'm still learning about Carrick. I don't know anything about Michael Carrick. I don't pretend to. I know Middlesbrough, there was, idea to play out some possession. He can play different ways, but I'm still learning about Michael. But I saw against City, against Arsenal, in tight spaces, good football, quick football, fast, one touch. I didn't see any of this stuff, and there was room to do it, but it wasn't there, man. I felt the quality was poor, and I just felt we didn't play with any risk and courage. Maybe it's because you're scared, because you're playing so high to get counted on. But you have to take those risks to unlock this team, man. Because if they do score first, I know Nuruddin says this every frigging game. If they score first, but this was one. If they score first, and when they did score, I felt one. It was a horrendous goal, just mixture of errors to lead it. Then I thought, wow, this is going to be hard now.
It's always a balancing act, because let's look at the profile of the midfielders that we have. We have Casemiro, we have Bruno, we have Kobe Mino. All different profile in their own way. But the only thing closer to a ball carrier is Kobe Mino. And that is still like iffy on that. So when you come to a low block, I believe you need ball carriers. You need people that can carry the ball, pass somebody in there. But we don't have it. We only have Bruno cannot find that. He cannot carry the ball. He doesn't have that intricate pass. He just has the ball. Yeah.
Like ball carriers in this kind of game, I don't know, bro. I'm thinking more, I need intricate players that are comfortable on the ball. Instead of Sesko, at one point, I felt Xerxes might have been the answer to play off of. A quick 1-2, get a shot off. A ball carrier, okay, break some lines, get us up the pitch. But the game was played in front of West Ham for large parts. But what we failed to do was a quick ball into feet, 1-2, make a yard, have a dig.
But let me explain. Luan and I talked about this yesterday, and if I bring up the tactical board, Noradin will join us soon. By the way, he's already in the studio. But everybody, please do us a favor and smash the like. I think we are on 50 likes. 260 of you are watching at the moment. So it costs
260 of you in here. We need 2,000 likes.
Yeah, please do us a favor. Just press that like, that thumbs up. I will forever be appreciated. So please, guys, do us a favor. We're doing this on our spare time, and we love you guys, the audience. But please do us a favor, smash the like. This is the how the game played itself out a lot of the time, and the guy up here, that's Martinez, and he's our progressor. He has more than 100 passes every game. The problem is they played really compact in a 5-4-1 formation, or a 4-1-4-1 formation, or whatever you want to call it. But they play really compact. We know that the London what's the name of the stadium? London Olympic Stadium or whatever. It's very narrow. It's a very narrow pitch, so it's hard to stretch it out. But a lot of the attempts from Martinez was always trying to find Bruno, or find Casemiro, or find Cunha, and all of them wanna come towards Martinez, but there was no space. You look how tight it is in this area.
Yeah.
But on the other side you have Dalot, and I think we should try to stretch him out. I know it's a narrow pitch, but I think one of the keys would be to stretch him out. So I went in to analyze what really went on, and Nalicha had more than 100 passes. On this screen you see 6 blue dots, and that's all the long passes forward from Martinez, and most of them are not that long. I would say he had 2 or 3 good passes. This one in the 50th minute, that's the shift. This one tries to hit it down the channel, and this one, that's a shift. Or rest of them, it's not the quality we need. So most of the time the passes end up here, and it's crowded, and we can't come through. So that's one of the problems. If we go back and look at this, if I add Lenny Yoro here instead of Martinez, he didn't play long. He played for how many minutes? 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as Lenny Yoro came on, look what he's doing. He's shifting play. In 10 minutes, you have more switches of play and long passes than Martinez, and I think that was the recipe. So against the low block now, when I know more, I would actually play Lenny Yoro on the right hand side and Martinez on the left hand side, because it will be difficult for the team to defend against us, because then we will have 2 weapons, and we can utilize both wingers, trying to switch the play. So this is just things that I'm analyzing and trying to see from the games. I don't know, what's your thoughts, Bombaye?
I feel
does it make any sense?
To me, Jarvis, having watched the game, I'll give you my take. The ball that he sprayed to Dalot, the wide one, I get it, but West Ham are not moving. They're not going to move. They decided they're going to cement themselves in the box. They're not going to get dragged out wide. If Dalot gets it, we had the opportunity to put in a lot of crosses. The quality was shit. For me, Martinez was, first half, probably our best player in terms of the passing that he was doing in what was very tight spaces, because in order to actually still find those passes into feet of Cobbs, of Bruno, of Casemiro, allowed us to get through the first line. But then after that, they need to be able to have in their mind, where's the ball going before I receive it? That wasn't quite happening. And even when Martinez pushed right into their defense and we had the game in front of us, we weren't really offering much. And even when they were in a type of mid-block, and there were those opportunities to make certain passes. I wish I could find like the clips just to give you. There's 4 such vivid examples of exactly what I'm talking about, where Luke Shaw is guilty of quite a few of those. Make that pass. It's all right. It's worth making that pass. You've been making these passes in previous games. It was all very, very safe. Those are the passes that you're going to need to make to dislodge this team. You're going to get those moments, but they're going to be scarce. Brian's got the ball running at them. Man, you're on your left foot. Play it to the right wing. Ahmad's there. He's through. Didn't make the pass. Cobbs has got one. Dallow's free as a bird. Don't make the pass. It was all wrong for me yesterday. We did not play good as a team in any way. Anything that we could have capitalized on, we played safe, in my opinion. But Martinez, for me, man, was very important first off. He's
very important, but he's also very predictable because he's the guy, he's the outlet. And I think that was one of the game plans. He was trying just to squeeze and stop, block every passing ability for Martinez, and then we had nothing. So for me, I think we are very predictable. We are easy to read, and Nunes, he showed it. And it's hard to break down a low block. I fully understand it, but you have to mix it up. You can't just try the same thing. Or Martinez to find the perfect pass into Kobe, into Casemiro, into Bruno, into all of these intricate, good technical players that we have further up.
I think first off, Jov, he did find them.
Let me just say, right at the beginning,
he did find them, but we didn't do much more than that. But anyway,
the major difference I saw between Martinez and Lenny Euro, when Lenny Euro came in yesterday, he was carrying the ball a little bit more forward than Martinez did. You see, the low block, sometimes we have to give credit to the opposing manager. That was always the game plan. When you play in a 4-4-2 low block, and they're shifting it from left to right, depending on if you shift the ball, if you make that long pass to, for example, Dalot, they're going to shift. The difference is if they how fast are they going to shift the line back before Dalot is able to put a cross in. But I'm pretty sure Nuno took account of the fact that he will leave us the wing. That's why he played in a 4-4-2 and not in a 5-4-1 or something. So that was also part of the plan for them to leave us the wing. We'll cross the ball in. They have the numbers. The box is stacked up to deal with any cross that we put in. That's also part of the plan. The issue is that when you play with a defender like Maguire, we all play football. But when you play with a defender like Maguire, when you are Lisandro Martinez or any other defender, subconsciously, you know that you cannot carry the ball forward enough because you're going with the ball, right? If I give you the option to carry the ball forward and to pass the ball, the less risky option is to pass the ball, because if that passing lane is if that the ball gets intercepted, you still have 2 men behind the ball, you and Maguire. But if you carrying it and then you lose it in the process of carrying it, then Maguire have to defend by himself. So there is a subconscious element that Lisandro will be thinking about when he's playing with a defender like Maguire. That will make him a little less, more risk adverse in terms of carrying the ball or in terms of even picking some more risky passes. That's why I say the coach have to identify some games in isolation, know that we're going to face a low block and change the profile. Just one person, just put Maguire on the bench, bring in Lenny Euro or Eden Haven, and that can have a psychological effect on the partner, the person that he's partnered with, so that we can take more risk. That's just my perspective.
I think when Euro came on as well, the game was different. They had retreated completely, so there was space to run, to move forward. I think when Euro came on as well, the game...
Big up, Earth. Big up.
They had retreated.
Big
How you
up.
How are you
doing?
doing?
All good, guys. All good. All good.
Oh, good, all good. You missed the match reaction yesterday, Ball. So we haven't heard your thoughts on the game.
No.
Are
I
you
was there.
disappointed or are
I
you
was there. I
happy?
get caught. I went to do some work at the end of you. I was there because our Nuruddin. We had a Nuruddin volcano yesterday. Remember?
Yes, yes,
So I
yes.
was definitely there. Yeah,
My
yeah.
ears are still
Hi,
reverberating.
Luani, Bombay. All good. Yeah.
Evening, bro.
Yeah, very good. Thanks.
Yeah,
Good
yeah.
evening.
No. I was driving and listening in the car before I got home. You see, so I was
Mm,
listening to everyone's opinion, Luani's, Bombay's, and yours. I was listening to. I mean, like I said, I did a lot of. I always do a lot of. I always try to listen to a lot of podcasts, see what other people say about that. But I actually think we were set up incorrectly yesterday. We weren't set up to beat the low block yesterday. That's my first analysis, having looked at all yesterday. We just weren't. I mean, look, the players aren't geniuses. They're not. They're not quite there. They're not on top form. They don't know how to beat everybody yet. So we got to cut them some slack. It was quite a strange one yesterday because, when you come back from the day after, you look at the result and you say to yourself, well, how am I viewing this? Should we be happy with the point, or should we be unhappy with we lost 2 points? Because obviously you see the results today. Chelsea obviously they drew, and then obviously Liverpool won today, and so did Aston Villa win today. So you could I don't know how people look at it, but me, I want to get into the top four at all costs. So I do look at it as 2 points lost. And had we been set up properly, we would have. I think we would have had more of a chance of winning. Obviously, the ball didn't run for us. You saw the Xerxes header, you saw the Casemiro offside. Very, very, very. Sometimes these things go for you, but it didn't go for yesterday. And
Luke Shaw off the
obviously,
line.
yeah, shot off the line. But Nuno knows how to play low block. He's one of the best at low block. We should have been ready for this guy. I thought someone in the backroom stuff would have. And to be honest with you, the other mistake I think Carrick made was not putting Sesko on at half time. He needed more than 20 minutes to do the job for us. We needed a lot more because once we went for it, we did stretch them. I thought Mbeumo was ineffective yesterday. I thought Ahmad was basically taken out of the game by Juve. He took him out, and then you don't really have anything on the left because Cunha likes to come into the middle all the time. He's not a wide guy, so this is a game where you have to stretch him, but we didn't stretch him at all. And it's funny because Carrick said we weren't fatigued, but I just thought we were because we were just so slow yesterday. We were really slow. I mean, he knew out Foxes yesterday, but I thought the Carrick backroom staff would have tried to change it quicker. And have you noticed that when we put Maguire on off because of hamstring, the ball over the top, because obviously their strategy is waiting for a mistake by us. They'll score a goal and then they'll shut up shop. Then they'll make it hard for us and then they'll hit us on the counter. That's Nuno's tactic, basically, yeah? And he did it to a T yesterday. He really did. I mean, I made the mistake because when I look back at the goal, I mean, obviously people saying Luke Shaw should have headed it. He should have headed it. But still, there was enough time because it was 5 versus 3 at the back. It was still 5 versus 3. So we fell asleep and gave away a sloppy goal. I mean, Brian Mbeumo was actually quite close to Bowen to actually stop the ball in. And I really, really defensively, it was a very, very bad goal to give away. Yeah. And like I said, we always talk about the first goal, but the first goal in yesterday's match against the Lobbox team is vital. It's absolutely vital. So I was very disappointed that we gave away such a sloppy goal. I knew we were going to chase the game. And tell you the truth, that equalizer, I thought was a get out of jail card. I don't even know if he deserved that. To tell you the truth, it was a get out of jail card. I mean, when I look at that goal, to me, it was a freak goal. It was absolutely amazing skill to do that. I don't know how many players would have actually strikers would have scored a goal like that. So in a way, we should be fortunate, happy that we didn't lose, but Carrick and his staff have to do a lot of work to teach this team how to beat a low block. They have to set up properly, and hopefully they learn. Hopefully they will learn, about how to do that again. But I do look at it and think, if you look at the fact that Carrick's only had 5 games in charge, then maybe you can say, okay, we'll take a point. But if you look at it in terms of we need to win, it was 2 points dropped, and Carrick didn't get the tactics right at all. I hope they learn. I hope they're going to do some scrutiny of that setup, and hopefully they're going to get it right next time. I really hope we are. But again, it's another game we really missed Dogo. We really did miss him. So Let's just see if if they learn from it, because Everton's going to be another tricky game away. It's going to be another tricky game.
Irfan, other than bringing Sesko on earlier, you talked about the way that Carrick set up. What would you have? How should he have set up? What did he do that he shouldn't have? And what?
Well, I mean, look, Nuruddin said it yesterday, because when you got a 6'5" striker, you've got to get him in there to get between the two centre backs. They need to be occupied. They had nothing to do. Everything that went through the middle was they just swept it up like every day, like they do, cleaning the house. It was so
other
easy.
Than that, other than that, Habibi, is there anything else?
Well, I think obviously I would have taken off Mbuma. I would have kept Ahmad on, and I put a Sesko on at least a half time. I mean, really, when you look back, this probably was a game for Sesko from the start. To tell you the truth, this thing about, because it's a winning formula, let's stick to it. But Fergie changes his team all the time. A top player, top teams, they change all the time depending on the opposition. So, the bottom line is we did not stretch them anywhere near enough. You have to stretch them. You have to pull them out, pull them in, pull them out. You've got to really work them. They've got like a cage, like structure, and that structure is there to stay put. Saying to you, you don't move. Whatever you do, you don't move from the structure I've gave you. And we didn't give it. We played into the hands. We made sure that their structure did not move. They were in fixed positions, 4-5-1. We didn't push them out to the wings. We didn't push them out. We didn't do anything to get them out. And we have to double up on them. We have to be brave. Dalot should have hooked up with taking a risk and come up with thingy more often with Ahmad, and then also the other way. Shaw should have tried to create some overlaps with Cunha yesterday. That should have, but again, that was a game for Dogu. It was a Dogu game to stretch them, and sadly weren't there. So it showed the thing in our squad. I mean, there's no other way to beat a low block unless you stretch them and occupy the middle. That's how you beat them. That's how. When I was looking at the analysis today, that's what I kept hearing.
Yeah.
You can't play through the middle because, like I said, think of it as like a scaffolding around the house. The scaffolding is not going to move. It's set there to not move. You've got to move it out, and that's just how it works. It's all to do with movement. It's all to do with movement. That's all it is.
I just want to say big up, Nordin, big up. Welcome. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you so much, Jarvis. Appreciate you. Big up to all you guys.
Good host, Jarvis. Knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he knows what he knows. Yeah, he knows what he's doing. Yeah, definitely knows what he's doing. Yeah, I've been listening to some of the analysis. I think maybe last night I lost my head, but all my points stand. Nevertheless, all my points stand. Half time, Sesko would have come on. Cunha in Burma would have come off. I would have gone direct.
You would have, hang on, Nuruddin, would you have kept Ahmad on? Yeah. Do you find him in his pocket, don't you think?
No, you know what? This is what I'm trying to say. So I would have kept Ahmad on, and then I would have tried to get him, bring Diouf to this side to come more inside, and then had Diego Dalot to cross the ball.
Yeah. He needed the overlaps yesterday, big time. Yeah.
Because that's where if you watch the game again, there's about 3-4 times where Diego Dalot's doing this. He's in a whirl of space by himself doing this, and. For me, I think when you're playing against a low block, Sesko behind Sesko, for me, has to be a tactic that's used because majority of Premier League teams do not come up against two strikers and they will struggle. And if you want to talk about going to Manchester United DNA, that is risk-taking at its finest. Play two, Sesko, who's a natural more of a 10, and you play more Sesko, who can stretch and will play on the last shoulder. And you play them. To me, I would have bypassed their middle back, the middle bit, or their three midfielders and their striker and their two wings. I would have hoofed the ball to them and got in and around. I would have sent Casemiro close to Sesko and Zirkzee, and I would have told Zirkzee and Sesko to play closer to each other. I would have told Kobe, Bruno, and Casemiro to get in, to get in the middle, and anything that dropped to win the second balls and play in that last. In the box, just outskirts of their box. That's where the game should have been. For me, I think Carrick got it wrong. I genuinely do think Carrick is not the right guy. Manchester United have beaten Arsenal. They've beaten City before with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer football, with Ten Hag. We've beaten these teams before. So for me, that wasn't a thing. The big games, we already know Manchester United can win a big game. The players rise up. this is the game for me. This was a huge examination and a huge test. So his in-game management, zilch, wait until the 70th minute to bring on Sesko, and then waiting another 10 minutes to bring on Xerxes. Honestly, I am speechless. Knowing that they played 3 days, we all did the preview here. I'm going to try to stay calm because it's been a very calm show. But more my points stand. The way you shift a low block, specifically like that, you do something that they would never expect you to do. Having two up front, hoofing that ball, telling Martinez, you know what, for the next 15, 20 minutes, just hit that ball. The Sassi's just only got there. And that Greek guy tests them both. And in and around the box, that's where the game is. Because there's no space for Cunha to pick up the ball and run with. He can't beat 5-6 guys. There's no space for Mbeumo to run into or run after. And there was no counter-attacking that we were doing because they were sat in a low block. So you have to do something and take risk. Now, if Carrick would have done that, I would have come on and we would have lost. And Jarvis knows this. Irfan knows this because I've talked to football with him. I don't know if the rest of the audience know. I was one of the only, maybe in our section, maybe 10 fans out of thousands that clapped Jose Mourinho off that pitch versus Spurs. It was dog-shy defensive football, getting McTominay to kick the ball back, right, other than going forward when the whole of the stadium saying attack, attack, attack. And against Spurs, Jose went for it. Lukaku missed 2 one-on-one sitters. Spurs beat us 3-0. Two goals came on the counter. One of the goals came from Harry Kane from a header on a corner. That game, Manchester United balled Spurs off that part. We lost 3-0. I stood and I clapped Jose and every single player. And in a reaction, I said, this is how I want to lose. This is how I want to draw. Because that is what football is about. I'm not asking for Michael Carrick to do perfect things. I'm not asking for perfection. I just need him to understand. You cannot stand on a touchline and talk about Manchester United bullshit DNA and not fucking stick to it. You have to live by it. Risk football. You have to risk it. Their relegation fodder. We are the form team. We should have won that game by scoring the first goal first. My tweets are out there. I put it out and I said, more than any other game, this is the game you need to score first. Because if you would have scored first, Nuno Espirito Santos and his team would have to change tactics. Instead of playing 3 defensive midfielders, he would have at least brought on 2 attacking guys and kept with 1, and he would have totally have changed the game. Then, Mbeumo, Cunha, these players would have come in the game. But since he's not done that, at halftime, you make those substitutions. But at this moment in time, he's an interim, and he's there, and all the press conferences are how well the lads are. It's not about the lads. It's about you do what is better for the team. You speak to Cunha and you speak to Mbeumo and say, guys, they're playing a low block. There's no room for you guys to play. There is no room for you guys to play. These are the tactics for the betterment of the team. Because these two, Xerxes and Sesko, I'm giving these guys a go. You both need to come off. That's what he should have done. And could have bypassed them, their midfield, and kicked the ball and played for second ball. That's what my belief. Or you could have kept them on the pitch if you wanted, but shifted the ball a lot quicker. The instruction should have been, the way to beat a low block and to unsettle it is pass the ball quick as you can. You make them run. They get tired, and then you'll get your chances. But that's my 2 pence.
But hang on, Nuruddin. Fair enough. It's a fair comment. Can I come back to you and say, do you think, you say he's not the guy, but do you think he could learn from that? Do you think he could make that mistake and get it right next time? Don't you think it's a bit early to say he's not the guy? No, in this point.
I hope and pray. I really hope and pray he can. And Everton will be a good test because David Moyes knows how to set up a good test as well. I really hope and pray he can. And I hope he can shut me up. I hope Michael Carrick can go to Everton, shut me up, play the same way. Those players find a way to get the first goal, and then we take them apart. But I've seen enough signs for him that he doesn't want to upset bigger players. That team on last night needed refreshing. I would not have played Luke Shaw. I would have played Masraoui. I would have played Sesko. Sesko would have started, and then I would have brought on Sesko, seen how the game went. Then towards the end, if we need to counter attack and there's more space because they're attacking, Mbeumo would come in, Cunha would come in. That's what I would have done, me personally. So I hope he learns.
I have a question about what you just said.
Irfan, I don't think what I wanted to understand. He doesn't want to upset the guys because it's all about the boys feeling good. It's all about protecting the egos of these players. And plus, you can't take them off at half time.
Possibly,
it wasn't the game. No, Irfan, that's
no, but we don't know that. I understand that could be right, but we don't know that. Do we?
In modern football, that's how it works. When a player gets taken off at half time, it's like the end of the world.
Yeah. Oh no, we know
he got hooked at half time.
No. But I understand, but don't you think it's still a bit early to say that? It seems that way. You could be right, but I think it's still a bit early to say that.
I'm just telling you what the professional footballer's landmark is. When you get taken off, when you cost 60 million or 70 million, and you get taken off at half time, it's like, oh, you must be that bad. There's going to be war now.
But I can counter what you're saying.
Let me finish.
I can counter what you're saying.
Please let me explain the point. So what I'm saying to you then now is like newspapers. Journalists are going to be like, well, what happened? Why did he have to take them off? Why? And all of this started. And then the agent comes out and says, well, this and that. And then all of this bullshit then create this kind of toxic atmosphere in the changing room. Players, you took off leader like Mbeumo or leader like Cunha. Bullshit. For me, that's why I would never have started with them. I would have understood what Nuno Espirito Santos has done to Manchester United. I think we've only beaten his Wolves side once, if I'm not mistaken, maybe twice. Once at home, I think Rashford scored. I think he was a last-minute winner. And then when he was at Nottingham Forest, we beat him another time. This guy has a record against this football club because he knows we don't have technically superior players to him to unlock his low block defence. And that's what he relied on. And Carrick stood there in that rain and didn't change it. And he waited. To me, the most aggravating thing, and I'm so angry still about it, he waited till 70 minutes to see what.
So what you just said something about the low blocks. Sometimes you have to recognize that the profile of the players that you have can constitute a limitation to what the manager is trying to do, and vice versa. The tactic that the manager is trying to apply can also be a limitation to the profile of players that you have. When we go back to Amorim, for example, Amorim's issue was never to create goal-scoring opportunity. We were creating goal-scoring opportunity galore. We just were not putting those balls away. But the way Amorim's system was designed was to bait the press, and we were doing a lot of switch of play under Amorim. It was almost automatic. Ahmad will find himself in isolation against the wingers. He will take them on, or Dogu will find himself in space. But the issue is that team did not give us the respect. The giveaway with that system was that we didn't have anybody in the middle because all our attack were going through the wing. So the opponents have the time to play through our midfield, no problem. So we were conceding as much as goal as we were scoring. We were conceding as much goal scoring opportunities as we were creating. Now we just got Carrick in. We won 4 games in a row, and the coming opponent start giving us the respect that we deserve by low blocking us. And this is an issue where he have to find a way to beat them. It's as simple as that. I think the issue that we have on the Carrick now with the low block is that you say the shift of play that happened under Amorim. If we take the same switch of plays, the point of a low block, when you put 8 men behind the ball, when you compress the whole pitch and you're moving that line from left to right, when you switch the play and that ball stays in the air for as long as it does to go from one side to another, they will move the line back to the side where the ball is going, okay? And if the line doesn't get back there to close the space fast enough and Dalo happens to cross that ball, they will deal with that cross. That's also part of the plan. So regardless of how we play, we were playing into the hand of Nuno yesterday. It was a plan well executed. And like I say, the profile of players that you have can limit what a manager can do. I'm not saying that Carrick is the best manager ever, But when you look across our team yesterday, you look at Mbomo, he's a running behind striker. There was no space behind to run to. You look at Bruno, he was a ball over the top midfielder. There's no ball over the top because there's no space for any of our strikers to run to. Now you're saying that he should have put Sesko in there. Okay, you put Sesko in there, you tell Casemiro to go in the front, and you lump that ball high. So you daring Sesko and Casemiro to win a header against Disasi and Mavropanos. I'm not sure if that can work as a plan A.
Luani, please, I did not say that. I said you bring on Sertsky and you bring on a 6'6" guy, right? 6'5" guy, and you bring on a 6'4" guy, and you get the ball up to them and you tell them both to play tight and for them to be played. Then you get players around them and then you fight for the second balls. And this team has done nearly 13 months of working with Amarin on to win the second ball. So that shouldn't be hard enough for them to do that. And that's what it'll be. And West Ham and Nuno Espirito Santos would have never suspected that level of game plan. He would never have thought Manchester United are going to lump it and get over my midfield and go straight to the heart of the two centre halves and actually occupy them, so that even if you don't work, midfielders drop, then people can take shots from outside the area.
Nuruddin, who doesn't play?
Let me finish. When you shoot sometimes, any deflections, anything can happen. But what you're doing is you're building pressure and you are building territory where you're worrying them, so that they've got two players to mark. I'm sure Jarvis explained.
Yeah, why you just say? Let me just
1 second. No, 1 second.
Yeah,
Jarvis explained. In Burma and Bruno or Cunha, they were all dropping back. There was nobody. Two of the centre halves were stood there motionless by themselves. We made Disasi an absolute bozo defender from the French league, who was at Chelsea. They've got some of the most bozo defenders you'll see. They said he's not good enough. He's worse than everything we've got here. Loan him out to West Ham. And we made him look like that he's one of the best centre-halves in the league. Because there was nobody to challenge him.
Let's go over the
let me just say this.
You're asking to say this.
No, I'm not finished yet. And I'll say this now. Soon as they sat back and the game got on, Zersky this far away from goal. Sesko took a shot straight away when he came on. Already, he's in the box trying to put a wall ball back in for Mbermo. Already, they are in that bit just by the timing Sesko comes on and the time Sesko comes on, they are already troubling West Ham. So the point what I'm saying to you is that should have been done at halftime. That should have been done at 50 minutes at the latest 55 minutes. You should have made the substitutions and change, because Nuno Espirito Santos would not have expected that. And by the way, if you looked at West Ham, they've conceded a lot from set pieces and they've conceded a lot of crosses coming into their box. They don't defend the crosses well.
Okay. No, then what you just said is very important, right? Disasi and Mavropanos are defenders by trade. Sesko and Xerxes, 6 foot, whatever, they're striker by trade. Now you're telling our DM to lump a ball straight. Who do you think is going to win that duel? I'm part of the old 4-4-2 school. That ball coming, the defender have the advantage. If they had that ball going back into the midfield, you turn it into a 50-50, not in their final third, but in the midfield at that point. At that point, it's anybody's game. We have the numbers committed forward. If they win that 50-50, they break on us. I've seen Everton do that to us in preseason with Beto. Okay, I've seen that done to us. The only thing I will agree with you is the only time the strikers have the advantage of the header is when the ball go into the wing and when it's crossing. At that point, the defenders have to head it out, or the striker have to head it in. So the direction from which the ball is coming is very important in this case.
I genuinely don't know, and I don't want to. This is my last point, and other people can come in. But I genuinely do not know why people think a 6'5" guy can't win a header. Like, he's already proven that against Arsenal, the ball got lumped up to him. What did he do? He chested it. Who won the second ball straight away? Kobe wins the second ball, gives it to Bruno. Bruno gives it back to Kobe. Kobe gives it to Cunha, and the rest is history. Manchester United win the game. Watch the goal we scored against Arsenal. Where did the ball? The ball got from about halfway line. And the other things were Maguire's already off the pitch. So if you're worried about them winning the header, you squeeze the game already. We already there. Our defenders are there to pick up the second ball or to fight for the second and the third challenge. So the game would have been compacted. For me, that's the only way you unsettle. Occupy the two centre-halves. Then it gives Bruno, who was struggling for space most of the game, and if you bring Ahmad in, was struggling for space, and that's what it gives. And at times, the only player for me that in that game, and I watched the game again, that used his intelligence and brain was Casemiro. Casemiro was the only person who was thinking, you know what, these defenders, I'm going to start making runs. He scored a goal, but it's offside. Another one again, you know, where he went to the touchline, and then, you know, the ball bounced off him. There was many opportunities where you saw Casemiro in the box because he realized, actually, they're sat so back, I need to stretch the back line. And he made loads of runs into that. Sersky and Sesko, for me, would have troubled them. Disasi's not that group. That guy, that Greek guy, I can't even say his name, he's not that good. I went on West Ham, last night, I went on West Ham TV, like West Ham fan channels. And I've gone back what they're saying about this. Zassi, what they're saying, what they've been saying about them. Nobody rates them. And the ball from the crosses they've been struggling with all season with. I personally think if you want to represent yourself as Manchester United DNA, you risk it. And the only way that I know in his head, he's thinking he's going to put two up front and we're going to hoof the ball. That's what we should have done in the second half, because the game would have opened, we could have found the equalizer, and there's a lot more game to be won. That is my point of view. That's the things that I picture in the game, and he didn't do it. He bought on Sesko 70 minutes, and then he waited another 10 minutes to bring on Sersky. That to me is cowardice, and it's not risk taking. It's not Manchester United DNA. It's not. That's how I know it's not the guy. But
Nerdin, that's why he's not.
Lads, listen. It seems that the chat has gone ahead to Jim Ratcliffe's comments. Do you want to address these things? Is that part of the show today? Jim Ratcliffe made some quite divisive comments, and it seems it's going quite lively.
Okay, so do you want to go talk about Jim? Because I really wanted to make the show about Maguire, and I think Maguire should not be given a new contract. Neither does Luke Shaw.
Let's touch on both things. Let's get to it. Though.
Should we go to Jim, or should we go to Maguire?
Well, let's do Maguire, because that was part of the show. Yeah. It's a pillar of the show. Let's do that, and then we'll touch on Jim.
Harry Maguire should not be given any new contract. Harry Maguire should be said, "Thank you so much. See you later, Harry. Thank you. It's been a pleasure." We record-breaking 80 million to my defender for Manchester United. The first season was all right. For 3-4 seasons, you were in the wilderness. You weren't all that. You found a bit of form, and you actually, the biggest compliment I can pay to him is that from being heavy on his heels type of defender, he went a bit more aggressive, especially when Ten Hag came in, because Ten Hag prefers centre-halves to be and one thing I would say, playing with Martinez has definitely got that out of it. He will never go down. He would go down as a decent player, not even a good player for me, a decent centre-half, because the video is on Saeed's channel. I wasn't Johnny come lately. It wasn't hindsight. I broke his game down way before he came to Manchester United. And I said, if we get this guy, it's going to be a disaster. I even said at that time, this how 6 years ago nearly, 5-6 years ago, I said he can't play halfway line. He turns like a double-decker bus, and he's only good at if the ball is straight. You know the ball that you're talking about, Luane? You're saying that the Sassi and the other Greek guy would have won. Harry Maguire is the best in the world at that. If a striker goes against Harry Maguire, and it's got Harry Maguire's back, if the ball is straight, Harry Maguire is going to outstrength and win that ball. That is the only skill he has in terms of where you think, you know what, that is a crucial part of defending in the Premier League. When the ball is crossed and whipped in from the sides, if his feet are not set, he's not getting anywhere, and I can prove it. All you have to do is go to when we first bought him, the first season, the second and the third season, and you see the types of goals he's conceding. Other teams worked out that he's so heavy-footed that they started to play cutback goals against Manchester United, because both him and Lindelof will run to the 6 yards and leave everything there. Now, to be fair to him, and for me being objective, was he in a team that midfielders that can protect him? No. When was the best that we got the best out of Harry Maguire? When Manchester United played in a low block and there was no space and no gaps in between, especially when he became super aggressive as a defender, he then became a really good defender. You saw him against City, you saw him at times against Arsenal, and you saw him, especially since he's come back in the team. His injury record is there now, by the way, because if he was a French, Argentinian, if he was an African, whatever global majority defender, he would have been called out for the injuries that he's getting now. And people would have been talking about the money Manchester United spent on him. But because he is Harry, one of the lads, nobody says a word about him. So, objectively, Harry Maguire, thank you. It's been a mixed bag. Do I blame it all on you? No. I blame these lot. And now we blame these lot because they never built a team to get the best out of you for the 80 million they spent on you. And he was not that guy. People thought we were getting a potential next, like, for that amount of money, 80 million, like, for example, like a Van Dijk. He's nowhere near Van Dijk. Nowhere. For me, he is old school, centre half, hefty guy with no quick feet. And he could never turn. I broke it down in many videos in many years, especially on Saeed's channel, about his mobility and movements. The ball in the air straight up, yes. He took a lot of criticism. He came back, and the biggest thing was say test the character, that he took all of that, he improved himself. He didn't make himself a world beater, but at least he cut out the mistakes that he was making. And he actually became a kind of guy who can now and again get headers in the box and get odd goal for Manchester United. For the money we paid for him, for the hype, he wasn't that guy. And that's why he needs to go. But everything you need to know about this football club, by these two owners, will keep Harry Maguire because he's one of the lads. And they would keep him and give him another contract. And in that way, I believe, from watching last night, I believe that Euro is ready to start games for Manchester United. And I think Heaven is ready to start for Manchester United. I would go and get an experienced guy on his 20, maybe 26, 27 centre-half, just to be able to be there as a, somebody who's there, who's got a bit of experience. But I would try to get the best out of Heaven and Euro. Because that is, if you want, that's the future of Manchester United, if you want to go. But these guys are not going to do that. They rather re-sign a player than go and spend money to bring a player. That is what is called Glazeronomics.
What does everyone else think? Luani, what do you think?
If we resign, if we offer him a new contract, I hope it's speculation. If we do, I'll be Ineos out, Wilcox out, Vivel out, everybody out. When you look across the league, we're saying that football has passed Casemiro by. Defenders like Maguire, football has passed them by. Even defenders in the mode of Maguire, I would say Van Dijk, Konate, football is passing them by. The best defenders now, if you look at that PSG team, do they strike you as brute force, being able to win a header? That's a prerequisite. You have to be good on the ball, and you have to have a level of being able to read the game. Those are the facts that are important. Yes, physical. Every striker now have a certain level of pace. Every striker have physicality now. So as a defender, you have to match that. But what gives you the edge now is you have to be able, according to the system, to play out of the back. You have to be good with ball on your feet. When I look at defenders like Chelsea's Fofana, and even when you look at the defenders that Pep is speaking now, oh, I forgot his name. The guy from Eastern Europe, the new kid that he brought in. Those they're young, they don't have that much of body mass with them, so they can move around freely and they can read the game well. So Harry Maguire, I can't stand by it. And if he got offered a new contract, then that tell me exactly that this management, these owners of us, these football people that I think they have no clue.
Go on, lads. Quick capsule, though.
I think he's right. I mean, if we're like winners, like City and people like that, they get rid of these guys fast. They say, okay, you did it, not bad. It's time to move on. I don't think we're that kind of club. Same with Shaw. If we're a serious winning club, we need to get rid of them. And like I said, because you know that this guy only works if he has to just move 5-6 yards. He can't play on the halfway line. So you're already limited with this guy. So I do think it's time for them to go. But a lot of the fan base love Harry, so I think that might have to be a political decision. They might keep him, perhaps, but on pure football, in terms of your ruthless winners, you won't keep this guy, But that's my opinion on it. It's the same with Shaw. Their time is coming towards an end now. If you want to be winners, maybe. What do you think, Jarvis?
Yeah, the interesting thing, they came out that he has a hamstring injury, but I don't think it's as serious as as we thought first. We are talking maybe 2 weeks, so he'll probably be back until the next game. So then again, I don't think he will lose out much. But again, we can see the injury history. It's starting to repeat himself. It's out. When he first signed, he was never injured, but now he'll be seeing every season is at least 1 or 2 months out of the season. So again, I think it will only get worse. He's getting older, and he has problems with his recovery pace. So we will never be able to play on the halfway line and higher with a high defense. So I can't quite understand why we should re-sign Harry Maguire. Apparently, it's £125 million for the next extensions, according to the rumors. I think he's on 190k a week right now, so he will take a wage cut if he stays. And from a valuation point, it's not too bad for an experienced centre back. There are reasons why we maybe should keep him, because we are losing Casemiro. Maybe Bruno is going. We are losing a lot of experience. So having an experienced centre back in our ranks is probably a good thing, But I don't know who we are going to bring in. There have been rumors about Murillo, the Nottingham Forest centre back, and I also read some rumors about Senesi, Marco Senesi from Bournemouth. So they have Premier League experience. So if that's the case, I'm not worried. But I don't know. I like Harry Maguire. I think he gives something extra. I think the other players rate him, and I think he's like almost like a captain material at least. But I don't know if it's a 1-year extension just to keep him out next season, and then we say goodbye. Maybe I'm in for it. Just because of I think we need experience, but I don't want him to be a starting centre back. Maybe third choice, fourth choice, coming in special games when we need the physicality. And he's also a guy with keeping him on the bench, chucking him in the last 10-15 minutes if we need a goal, playing up front. So he has some. Yeah, but I'm just saying, every weapon counts in the race of the Premier League. And next season we will maybe have Champions League. You will play maybe up to 60 games. So, if we don't have the right person lined up, maybe this is the right choice. But I'm more worried about the timing of deciding. Why do we give him a new contract now? We don't even know who the next manager is. And if let's say De Zerbi comes in, or another manager who likes to play with a high line, it's the total wrong decision. Then we are just strangling the new manager with players who's not suited for his system. So again, I can see both positives and negatives with keeping or selling Maguire. I don't know, guys.
Yeah, I'd probably side with Jarvis, to be honest. If it's a year, it's not a major amount of money. I think there's some pros to keeping him. the experience, certain types of games, Harry. De Ligt is quite injury prone these days. And Martinez, who knows, if we have another long-term injury, he's bailed us out last season, Harry Maguire, and this season he's played really well. So it's not a major issue for me. If we were talking about big money, 3-year extension, then no.
Yeah.
He's 33 on the 5th of March. So one more year, I think the benefits are good. Leadership, have him around. He can play. He can play his part.
Yeah, and another thing is Boumaier, you have Lenny Yoro and Aiden Heaven, both really young centre backs, and I think having Maguire around, maybe it's time to integrate them.
He's a cushion for them.
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
Maguire is not good enough for Lenny Yoro and Heaven to learn from him. A few years ago, he was brought in as captain. We're talking about his leadership quality. We all sit here and watch what's his name? Rashford call him name. So I mean, if you're not good, you're not good. Nobody's gonna respect you in the team.
Bro, it's not to model their game on Harry Maguire, but Harry Maguire to take the hits for them. Lenny Yoro, for example, has been out of the team, and rightly so. He came back with a bang in this game. But previously, Lenny Yoro doesn't start for me. He's been having a bit of a tough time of it. It's good to have a Maguire to give him that break. That's all I'm saying. Not for them to model their game on Harry Maguire. Yeah. Do you want to talk about Ratcliffe? You want to know what he said exactly? I've got it here if you want me to read it out and then we get into it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but Boumaier, if you don't mind, I have the clip, the interview. Maybe we can just play it. It's like 30 seconds.
I'm easy, man. Whatever works best.
But most of you have probably seen it. So okay, give me 2 seconds. It's uploading. So, it's not working.
Uncle Jimmy.
Yeah. There's a chemistry.
Come on, guys. It's not really a major surprise, I don't think. But the fact that it happened.
Can I just say, did Irfan had his say about the Maguire?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I said they've got to go. Him and Shaw have got to go. If we want to be winners, they've got to go. They can't stay. But I don't know if we're winners, Nuruddin.
Okay, let's play.
And huge levels of immigrants coming in. I mean, the UK is being colonised. It's costing too much money. It will cause. It'll cause. Well, yeah. The UK is being colonised by immigrants, really, isn't it? I mean, the population of the UK was 58 million in 2020. Now it's 70 million. That's 12 million people.
You met recently with Nigel Farage, didn't you?
I did.
Do you think that they would be a good government if they were to win the next election?
I think Nigel is an intelligent man, and I think he's got good intentions, but in a way you could say exactly the same about Keir when Keir came in. I think it needs somebody who's prepared to be unpopular for a period of time to get the big issues sorted out.
Yeah, basically that's it.
He didn't just say that, Jarvis.
Take it away.
I've got it here. So he says here, let me just go back to you. Sorry, I'll get the full quote up because he said something more. Let me get the full quote up. Here we go. Jim Ratcliffe asked about the current climate in the UK. You can have an economy with 9 million people and benefit huge levels of immigrants coming in. I mean, the UK is colonized. It's costing too much money. Colonized by immigrants, really is. I mean, the population of the UK was 58 million. 22 now is 70 million. That's 12 million more. So that's what he said. So basically, he spoke Nigel Farage. I just want to give a context. Ineos, I read an article. Big up Jamie Wayne, by the way. Jamie Wayne told me about it. Big up to Jamie Wayne if he's there. Jamie Wayne said, and you need to check this out, Nuruddin. Ineos are in trouble. And I went and checked it out. And I think they're £18 billion in debt. So he's been losing businesses right, left, and centre.
Can I just add to that, Nuruddin?
I just want to add, and I just want to tell the story first about what's happening with Ineos. He was going to get sued by the New Zealand. They brought him to court for some advertisements for other sport teams and other places. Spurs, he was advertising some parts of Spurs, but he was taken to court, I think, or they settled out of court when he came to New Zealand. Manchester United are being piled. His team in Nice in France are being riots. Players fight, fans fighting with the players and everything. Manchester United, you know what it's been. There's been a protest organized about him. Now there are banners at Old Trafford saying, Jim can't fix it and Jim ain't it. Right? That is what is happening. Right? So, or Jim ain't the one. Going into the Stones song, This Is the One, playing on that. There was a banner I saw at Old Trafford against the Spurs saying, Jim ain't the one, playing on that song from the Manchester band, the Stones. So he is in trouble.
Roses.
Yeah, he's in trouble. He's not allowed to frack. Labour came in and had a climate thing, and they said he's not allowed to frack or drill offshore in around the UK. So that's why he's falling out with them. And this Labour government bailed out his plastic plant. I think they had 600 jobs. So the government had to come in, my tax money, your tax money, everybody who lives in the UK, Bombay, me, and Irfan, those three of us have to pay our tax money, bailed out his plastic plant in the UK with 600 jobs.
You know how much the grant was, Nuruddin? You know how much it was? It was 120 million. He got given 120 million, yeah? You know what you said about the 18 billion in debt, he's grappling with, let me read it. He's facing a £6.5 billion reduction in his fortune, dropping him substantially in the rich list, yeah. And his automotive, Ineos Automotive, has accumulated £1.2 billion in losses, leading to job cuts. So basically, he's grappling with £18 million debt and facing a personal reduction of 6.5 billion in his fortune. So obviously, he's trying to get the ear of the future prime minister, who's basically a fascist. Nigel Farage is a fascist. But that's what he is. You know, he's a dog-wheeler racist fascist, and he triggers a lot of the flag wavers. But look, let's just go back to the statement. He said Britain had what was it, 58 million people, yeah? In 2020, that's what he said. Do you know what the actual correct figure is? How many people were living in Britain in 2020 when he reckoned it was 58? And now it's 70 million. You know what the actual figure was? Does anybody know?
No.
It was 67 million in 2020. It wasn't 58. We haven't had 12 million people come in, but that's what these idiots do. They're absolutely thick as shit. They're just businessmen who leech, and they get all the what we call the cave people out in the country who are thick as shit, who don't know anything about history, who just jump on it and beat their chest like, because when you're ignorant, when you've got low education, when you don't understand anything of history, when somebody like Farage comes along, who's been a racist from childhood, 50 people from his school have come out and said this guy was always racist, used to say racist things, right? He won't admit he's a racist, but racism has always been a fantastic vote winner when the economy of countries in trouble. When the rich keep stealing the money from the top to avoid tax and stop paying money into welfare for the economy, for councils to build roads and do everything to keep the infrastructure country. What the people at the top do is they find a scapegoat, and the scapegoat throughout history, going back 100 years, industrial nation, is to pick on the immigrants. It's always been the way. Okay, let me just say something about asylum as well. By the way, it costs £5 million a year to look after asylum seekers. Tax evasion by rich people in this country is 50 billion. Okay, these fuckers will never tell you that. Okay, and we got all these clowns in the chats who are thick as shit, right? Talking about, oh yeah, he speaks for me and we got too many silence. You're thick as fuck. You'll always be thick as fuck. You're ignorant idiots, and you'll always be fall for these pound shop Enoch Powell types thingy, right? You will, that's who you are. You don't know anything about history. You don't know anything. Let's just go through a little bit more of it, okay? Let's just go more of it, right? Clearly, he's gone to meet Farage because he wants to cozy up to him, hoping that Farage will give him more tax reductions, next year. That's what he's.
It's not just that, Irfan. Farage will let him frack Britain. We'll let him frack cities. We'll let him frack and get chemicals out of the land. He will let him frack the inland and offshore.
Of course he will. Cause that's what fascists do. Because remember, what you go understand, what you people have to understand, This country is run by corporations. Pretty much every country, industrialized country, Germany, France, Italy, America, Britain, they're all run by corporations. The politicians are meant to serve the people, but they don't serve the people. They serve corporations. It's called neoliberal capitalism, okay? That's what it is, where you do everything for private capital to run everything. Before neoliberal capitalism, we had a system of social democracy whereby the state used to pay for a lot of stuff. The state used to pay for house building. The state used to pay for road building. The state used to pay for schools. Now they've privatized everything. They've made everything be private entrepreneurs. And you've got these rich businessmen who basically rip off people in the NHS, in the national rails, everything to make money. And obviously, you know about privatization, privatizing the water, privatizing the rail. This is all part of it. Margaret Thatcher brought it in the 70s, and they've basically screwed the ordinary person over for 50 years. And that's how far we're at the stage now. Like I said, corporations run the country. And Jim the Rat is another one of those billionaire corporations who will say anything to avoid to do any tax. I mean, this guy's got the balls to talk about tax evasion, the costing of much money. This fucker lives in Monaco to save himself $4.5 billion in taxes every year, which he should be paying to the country. How can you be such a scumbag like this guy? How can you be such a hypocrite? But that's when you got a fan base, when you got a lot of the country who are thick as shit, who don't understand facts, they all fall into your hands. They fall into Farage's hands. These are the facts. So all those people in the comments, right, who are saying, oh, he's writing that, you don't need to fuck off. You don't need to go and get an education because you're dumb as fuck. You'll always be dumb and you'll always fall in the hands of people like Enoch Powell. That's just how it is.
Mm-hmm. Can I just say one thing when it comes to these numbers? I just checked on ChatGPT, by the way. Yeah. England had 56 million in 2020. Yeah. UK had 67.3 million.
Yes.
So he's basically mixing up the numbers or doing it on purpose, probably. Who knows?
Yeah. You know, look, but Jarvis.
Like I'm going to try to appeal to all the working class people in the chat. Yeah. Football is a working class sport. This here, nothing more explains this, what he's doing, than this. Careful, mate, that foreigner wants your cookie. And where are all the cookies? This has been one of the oldest tactics since the slavery and since the beginning of colonization. Britain as a country that colonized 3/4 of this world. The reason why majority of us are here is because Britain came to us first.
Absolutely.
So if you want to give us back the 70 trillion that you have stolen, you have pillaged, the amount of people you've killed, murdered, and the amount of pillaging that's still going on, especially those of us who are from the African continent, then we will go back and we will be glad to know that we will never have met you. But the reason why Irfan said the billionaire class, you've seen the PDF files and you see what they're doing. They're literally calling children that they're literally eating like a pizza. That is what has been happening. They are PDF files, and that's what they're doing. And this is the class. This is the people that Jim the Rat represents. It's that class of billionaires. People who are they control the governments, they control the politicians in these governments, and all governments around the world, especially under neoliberalism, have to do as they say. This is what we're looking at. And for me, I feel now, I feel bad. I mean, I can look after myself. I'm not that bad, but I feel bad, the Asian family, the black family, especially with children who are going to go to Old Trafford now. Because I'm not going to lie to you. In every football club in the land, there are a section who believe in everything he said. He said what he said to defy the fan base because he's seen a large protest calling him out. He's seen the banners and he thinks, how can I come out and make myself in good terms with some of the fan base, not all, some in Manchester United fan base who are already follow people like Tommy Two Shoes, and people like Farage. That is what's happening. This imagined takeover of this country by immigrants is a lie. It is a lie. There are millions of British people who live in Portugal, Spain, in Italy, live in Canada, in New Zealand, in the US, all around the world, in Asia. They're everywhere. Some of them live in Africa. They live all over. This is the true facts of this country. But he used the word colonized specifically. It's not even a dog whistle. Just to basically say that me and anybody who's got any tint of brown or black is a colonizer in this land. The cheek of this bastard to say that while coming from and living in, well, part-time living in, because he tax justice in Monaco, for one of the biggest colonizers of the world, which is the UK, Britain, historically. And it still is. Britain still has majority of the Caribbeans, has something called the Commonwealth. That is, if that's not colonization, I don't know what is. So take how you want to take it. But you have to think. The last thing I would say to the working class people here, specifically though those who are being lied to by Tommy Two Shoes and Nigel Fascist Farage, just think about it. There's no NHS without people who like me or Irfan or people who sound like Uzayla. Sorry, it's people who sound like the people here. I promise you, if we all fucked off tomorrow out of this country, I'm telling you, specifically in the big cities, I can't even imagine what the fuck would happen.
You'd have a breakdown society and everything. The NHS would collapse it like in a week. I mean, anyone's been in the hospital.
A lot of the food and service industries would collapse.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think I want to let Luwani in. Luwani, we're going through a similar thing over there in the US, and I want to get his perspective.
Well, it's a little disturbing when you hear that coming from people who have such influence and so much power, so much money. I guess the reason why they come out saying things like that is because they enjoy a certain level of impunity that can be afforded to them by the money, the power that they wield, and the government that's never going to hold them accountable. But the deplorable part is that he has it. He owns a team of football that's pretty much cosmopolitan in his mix. If you look at the composition of our team, all I keep thinking about is if players like Cunha, Ahmad, players that come from an immigrant background, that are sitting down watching their owner say things like that. And those players have deep-rooted relation in the community. They are friends, they are barbers, people they deal with every day are part of the immigrant fabric. What are these players thinking? How are they going to go to the field and perform? How are they going to clear their mind, knowing that this is the name that is signing their paycheck? It's beyond. Saying it's counterproductive is light. It's disturbing. But you know what? These milliardaires, these people have a penchant, despite all the money they have. They're still miserable to the point that they have a penchant to want to export their misery. I mean, good luck to them. We don't live forever, We all get to answer for our sin when we get to our destination. So, yep, that's my take.
I've just put a poll up, so vote. I really want to hear what people think. So, vote. Do you agree with Jim? Is yes or no? So get voting, people, if you can. Go ahead, Bumbaye.
I think Jim Ratcliffe just expressing, the true sense of self. He's neither allegiant to England, Britain, Ashton underline. Jim is allegiant to his own self-serving interest. So for Jim to say that is just a confirmation of what we probably, lots of us already know. And is it really shocking now that it's been said that it's coming from him. I don't think it is. Jim's interested in Jim, man. He doesn't care whether your name is David, Daniel, Shlomi, Mohammed. It doesn't really matter. Any more than the brown envelopes that come through our letterboxes. They're indifferent as well. You know, I mean, Jim Ratcliffe is throwing stones from a glass house because, you know, if he loves the country so much, then why not contribute to the country rather than criticize the policies?
Could you explain a little bit more how
and-
she works? I know I heard. Welcome, everyone. So we've got 13 games left. Could you
That's not
explain a
me. That's not me. So another thing is, I come across lots of people that have left places like Palestine, Sudan, Syria, Yemen, and every action in life has a reaction, guys. Lots of these conflicts, our governments, not our people. I won't equate the people to the governments, irrespective of your politics. We are not complicit, we are willing participants, whether overtly or covertly, in a lot of this stuff. So think about it. Would you want to make a trip? You want to all join me to make a trip by getting on a van or going through to France, then to Italy, then to Libya, then to Sudan? I don't want to really cross two continents, especially when there's a lot of hostility awaiting me. And I'll be damned if I would ever take my mother, my sisters, anybody ailing, you know, old in age on such a journey. And these guys that come here as immigration, they're coming here not to take £400 a month and live in a one-bedroom shared house. They're coming here because there's mum and dad and whoever waiting for them in a war-torn country that our government contributes to, because it gets, you know, it will get to eat from the fruits of that endeavor, and they want to send money back home. I mean, that's by and large a lot of immigration. It is true, some of these guys get lost. No different than the Irish boys that came here at 17 and 18 without the women, that built the roads. They got lost in the pub, they got lost in alcohol, and they died here a lonely, undignified death because they came to build and work. They weren't welcomed. They couldn't go back home because they got lost, young boys. And lots of these guys also will get lost in drugs. They come, you know, they've seen a lot of crazy stuff, but they give them papers, they come in, and it is what it is. Every action has a reaction. So Jim Ratcliffe is not really interested in what I'm saying at all, or what Nuruddin's saying. Earth, do you want to mute? I think you're hitting the keyboard.
Oh, sorry, yeah, go on.
It's all right, bro. So I don't really think he thinks about that. Jim thinks about Jim's bottom line. And Jim will cozy up to anybody that has a potential to get in at the next election. And Reform do. They'll get some seats. They will. And the reason they'll get seats is because the narrative is quite simple. And Labour and Conservative are hard to separate now. They're the same. And it's like the COVID. It's the same guy that told you if we leave Brussels, there'll be £300 million a week extra. And he sells you the simple argument that less people, you'll get more money. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. You know, everybody here is paying the highest utility bills in the world because you're sponsoring the Ukraine war. That's simple. Wars cost money. That's just one example. But the nuances of this have no place in the mind of a man that is strictly business. And this is exactly what Donald Trump is. So please, guys, you know, use your common sense. Try and put yourself in the position of a person that is forced to leave his family to try and find a better way. And he comes to the place that is participant in the destruction of his place, because no human being would ever, if they don't have to or are compelled to, want to leave their land. And this is pretty much where I am with Jim. He's throwing stones from glass houses. And that's just strictly business, Jim. He's a wolf. And you can see it in that statement. That's truly what Jim Ratcliffe thinks.
He's a Brexiteer, isn't he? Isn't he a Brexiteer? Was he a Brexiteer? He was?
I really don't know.
He's a Brexiteer. So it's typical Brexiteer talk, you know. It's Farage talk. That's what it is, you know.
It's easy. You see, it's very easy for the rich that have a large voice to direct you to the person that is voiceless. He's an easy target. He arrives, he doesn't speak English. Many a time he's not literate because he doesn't speak the language. He's an easy target. He arrives there, he doesn't even know why he's reproached in such a way. And like I say, man, if you fancy making, you know, a couple of 1,000 miles trip through hostile territory where you're going to face all types of reproach, all types of indignity, risk your life many a time. You've seen many people die on it. You know, for the sake of it, for sightseeing, I don't think so. You have to think, why is this happening? Why are people risking everything like this, leaving families to come here? Why? And is it something that we are prompting, that we are contributing to? If we were to have now 10,000 Palestinians arrive at our door and knock on and say, hey, look, man, you're seeing what's happening. You guys didn't even condemn this. You know, you're pro-Israeli. The whole government's pro-Israeli. We're sending reconnaissance flights to Israel. Elbit Systems that operates as in well embedded in our country here is supplying drones, bombs, weapons to kill us. Any chance we could come in and maybe sign on, do some ESOL classes, get our English up to speed, maybe then start to get a bit of a job, settle here? No, we can't do that. Can't do that. We were already being colonized. So what do you want us to do? We didn't want to leave Palestine, but you've helped bomb our country and destroy it.
No, they helped give it away. They helped give it away to somebody else.
Well, I mean, I don't even want to get into that. I mean, that is the root of the hell that, you know, for 75, 80 years that we have the state of Israel exists at the behest of the Balfour Declaration. But I won't go that far back. But just use your logic and show a little bit of humanity and just a little bit of insight into it. That's all. Not telling you to be pro-immigration, and I'm not saying people coming in illegally that might have problems and cause issues is fine. That's not what we're talking about. He's talking about the definition, immigration, people coming that are not English citizens from outside of the country. Well, where are they coming from? All the places that they're coming from, either those places are at war and the civilians are paying the heaviest price, there are allies, or we are willing participants. Because if we don't participate, and I like Trump for the sense that he said to Europe, if you don't pull your checkbook out for Ukraine, if it goes our way, you're not going to get a piece of the cake. You have to invest in these wars with me if you want the recompense. If you don't, then you're not going to eat if it goes our way. We pay for that. For me, man, look, if you walk on two legs, you're a man. It's that simple. It doesn't, I don't care your religion, you're gay, straight, well, I don't give a shit about all that. You're either good or you're bad, and there's good and bad everywhere.
But Bombay, don't you think it's so strange that a guy who's bought one of the clubs with the biggest fan base in the world from every part of the world would say something like that? Are you not shocked he would say that? Even his own base of how many supporters in Britain you have that are not,
you know Irfan, I want to thank you, bro, for saying that. It just prompted a thought. Manchester, it's called Manchester United. United, bro. And the history of Manchester, man, is very rich with people coming from different cultures, you know, from different parts of the world. The knitwear industry, the food industry, so many industries. People, what's the word that they like to use? Integrated. Seamstresses came from the Arab world, from the continent, from India, worked with the women making cotton, making knitwear. Manchester was built on these industries. They brought their food over. The most popular dish in the country now, in our country, is chicken tikka masala now. You know, so it's the culture, man, that it makes.
Bombay, the football. Do you remember when the footballers were all white in the 60s in Britain? Look at it now. I mean, it's crazy. The football would never evolve if it wasn't for people coming in from outside and bringing something new. I'm shocked. Some of these people they think that what it is that, you know, the talk that gets out on the echo chambers. They think the white-skinned people are going to be minority in Britain in 2065. That's what they actually think. They're thinking for 4 years' time, the brown man or the black man will be the majority. That's how crazy these people are. I mean, look, there's a guy in the comments saying it now. But what happens is these Farages and these people who use this language, they know when you've got, dare I say, uneducated simpletons. This is the kind of language that basically pokes them in the chest. It hits the nerve. So they're easily swallowed up by this rhetoric. They fall into line because they feel lost in their own country. You see, that's why. But they're not aware of the country's history. They're not aware of anything about Britain. They're not aware of colonization. I mean, if I gave you one line, which always freaks people out, and a lot of my own brown people, a lot of people don't know this. Between 1880 and 1921, the Brits killed 100 million Indian people. 100 million, right? And all the scholars from every university around the world, you know, a lot of them, some say it's a little bit less, plenty say it's a lot more. That's just in a 40-year period, 100 million. But you'll never read that. And you think I'm making it up, don't you? I dare you to go online, go anywhere, chat GPT, go anywhere and look at that quote made. 100 million dead, okay? Starved to death, taken away. The Brits basically rinsed India dry. 45 trillion they took out of it. They took it from being one of the richest countries in the world into one of the poorest countries in the world. Even that word loot is a word that comes from the Indian language, lut, to steal, to pilfer, to rampage. That's in the English language because that's what it did to Britain. But Great Britain does not teach its own people the savagery of how it got rich and how it built its stately homes and how the royal family got all the diamonds. They don't teach you that. Because if they taught you that, they'd have to do a lot of deep internalization. They'd have to look at the mirror and realize we have got a very, very ugly, evil history. But they won't teach you. They won't put the curriculum. They won't teach it. They won't.
I think everything you're saying is factual. You know, if you want to check it, that's fine. I want to keep this focused right on Jim Ratcliffe.
No, but Bombay, listen, there's people out there. Me and Nuruddin, we grew up in white working class areas. We had no issue with anybody. Everyone was our friend. Color was never important to us. We didn't give a shit. Even when I went to my first City match for Orange United, it was the white boys that took me there. I've never had a problem with that. I've never said, "Oh, let's get them out of here." I've always got on, and I feel very sad. Nuruddin made that point. When the white working class fall for this rhetoric, putting the flags up, I really feel sorry for them. I said, "You guys are being played. Don't you understand? You're being played." You know, we're a Muslim.
The thing that amazed me about people his age is that they are at death's doorstep, basically, and they never seem to come with a reckoning with their principle and purify their soul. And what does he want his legacy to be? What, a legacy of hatred? Like, at that age, you have to think. Even if you put God in the mathematical equation, it's still not logical to bring out such hatred, because if you die and you don't find God, that's your problem. But if you find God, you still need to reckon with what you sow. You know, at that age, you're supposed to be.
I think it's just ridiculous that, like Susie, you know, makes a pertinent, very obvious point. Jim, many people are employed on match day from you know, a certain generation of people that were immigrants into the country. Some of your players belong to those minorities which you might be condemning. You know, it's a stupid thing to say. and it's revealing. Maybe it's his old age. He should know better than to do something like that.
No, you can't say it's old. That's not an excuse. It's not. Old age.
No.
It's not old
Listen,
age.
Mumbai.
No, I'm not absolving
no.
him.
Honestly, age has got nothing to do with it.
All due respect,
Yeah.
age has got nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
This is who we. That's how they think.
Yeah, that's how
Billionaires,
it belongs to that
Billionaires are
age.
supremacists.
The supremacists and the
they're
elitists. That's who they are. Yeah.
They're supremacists. This is how we
Jarvis,
think.
Jarvis
Because-
is thinking hard about this.
Yeah,
It's
go ahead,
different
Joe.
in Norway as it is
That's
England.
what I say, big up
Norway's
to Khalid
different.
Romadi last week.
Norway's
Make sure
got
you follow
elements,
him
but not
on
like
X.
Britain. Yeah.
1 second, big
Yeah.
up to Khalid Romadi. Khalid said, panel, this guy barely lives here. That tax. Dodge tax. He apparently cares about this country. He still wants your money. These people like
he doesn't know
to
you
divide us.
exist.
Who treats him when he goes into hospital? Well,
There you go.
go ahead, Jav.
Yeah, it's difficult because as Earth say, I live in Norway. We don't have that type of setup in our country. There are a big majority of white people in Norway, and that's just how it is. But we do have.
So it's in the UK, Jarvis. So it's in the UK. Let me tell you, I think global majority people. If I'm not mistaken, Britain's still 80 or I think just under 80% white.
Yeah.
Right?
But
and what you're talking about, Jarvis, is that Norway, as far as I can stand, did not colonize 3/4 of this world. So the reason why it maybe is 80-something% white or 15% ethnic minority in this country, 15%. I think the Muslim population is like 1.something million. Black
1.7, something like that.
The
Yeah.
black population is 3%, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. It's 3%,
Right?
something like that.
And I think stress to the global majority in Asian community is about 12%, if I'm not mistaken, right? In and around there. If I
Somewhere like that, yeah.
So this country predominantly, but if you go to the big cities, Jarvis, you come to Manchester, you go to London, you go to Birmingham, you go to like places like Liverpool, you go to like the big cities like.
But I wouldn't even put Liverpool in that, Nuruddin.
No, Liverpool. For Liverpool has got the biggest mixed heritage community in the country.
But it's kind of eroded away. They're not.
But in FM there is still it's 50 is divided. The southern Liverpool is mixed heritage and a couple of communities are black and brown.
London.
The majority of it is white. So when you look at that, you will think that large parts of this country are villages and towns, and they are predominantly white working.
Yeah.
White.
And the other point. And the other point.
Let him finish. Okay.
No, I was just saying, for Jim to say this, he actually just exposes himself, and he can't hide his dumbness, if you can call it like that. And as Earth perfectly pointed out, his numbers was wrong, and for me, that's a big thing, and I'm so glad that you actually said it, because I read the comments. Few of you guys, you took the bait from Sir Jim. And this is probably what he wanted, create a debate around immigration. And we live in a place we have one Earth we live on, and we are here, flying through space and just clinging on, and this is what we do. And I think the world will be a better place if we could just stop talking about issues like this. But in another way, I believe in freedom of speech, and I think we should be a little bit careful. This is not me defending Jim, but we should be a little bit careful, like pointing fingers and calling people racist right away if they take up subjects like immigration, because I think we should be able to talk about it, because Jarvis, we don't want to stop the debate. We want to welcome the debate, and we want to.
But Jarvis,
educate people.
I know
that's what we want to do.
This is the point I wanted to add, though, right? The Britain, for example, the media is 95% owned by private capital. Okay, you've got the BBC, right, and you've got the private entrepreneurs on all the newspapers. Everything's all privately owned, but they all pump out the same agenda. They all pump out the rhetoric of the racist billionaire class. What Elon Musk says, what all these guys do. They're all in a group together, and I told you the strategy is to divide those at the bottom. to avoid looking at what they're doing by hiding their millions and not paying the taxes. Yeah. They have such massive fortunes, and this is the method used to divide the working class at the bottom. And the native working class, the blue collar working class, a lot of them sadly fall for it. And it's the same in nearly every white Western nation. It's the same. Anywhere with a significant, I mean, what we're going through with Farage is what Trump has just done in America. Exactly the same thing. He's using the textbook technique that Trump has just used to win. Farage is using the same one. And that what happens is what you have in politics, you have what's called the Overton window. The Overton window is a definition of where the country sits in politics, left or right. And the Overton window, because we've been squeezed financially for a good 20 years, is shifting to the right because more and more people are trying to struggle to make ends meet. And when people are struggling to make ends meet, they fall into the hands of the Enoch Powells, the Trumps, the Farages. They fall into their hands. It's been going on for, like I said, 100 years in pretty much every industrialized country. And the fact it's going in America, which is a nation of immigrants, is just incredible. It's absolutely incredible. I mean, these people stole the land from Native Americans, and they've got the cheek to make this kind of stuff. But this is it. Hypocrisy in industrialized Western nations is not going out. It's not going out. It's going to be there forever. It's going to stay.
Well, well said. There is a comment here. Maybe one of you wants to address. It's a funny one. It's from Miko.
Yeah, he's the guy that's
welcome,
Miko's
Miko.
the guy that thinks.
So Miko says, if a bunch of white Europeans were flooding Africa, people would be outraged. Anybody want to take that one? What's actually happened in Africa with South Africa and the rest of the...
No, but hang on. Before you answer,
they already did.
Miko is...
And they robbed and they looted it.
And what
they
actually happened...
Hang on, Nirad, you can tell us in a minute. Hold on a second. Miko is the classic reform victim because he thinks that Britain's going to be non-white in 2065, in 40 years' time, when it's got an 80% population at the moment that's white. You think it's going to be like black or blue or China or whatever, non-white in 40 years' time. It's typical
so Miko,
reform voters say. It's typical.
So Miko is hiding. So the kids who are born here, they're not British then, just because they're a different tinge of color.
Of course, that's how they think.
Because they're not white.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jarvis, you said you made a very important point. I'm a freedom of speech absolutist, right?
Yeah.
I will defend the right of a Nazi to abuse me, to call me the N-words, right?
Yeah.
Now, if he keeps doing it, violence then will become. But I have every right from my freedom of speech to call him a Nazi, to call him a fascist, and to call him a racist. So for me, I give anybody to have their opinion. Anybody to have their opinion. But I have the right, as my freedom of speech, to call them racist. When they start talking about that this country's been colonized, this country is 80% fucking white people. 80-something% white. And he wants people to believe that they've been colonized. While the billionaire, the class that he belongs to, the corporation, the head of the corporations, are eating children and doing all sorts. And now, they used to say drug trafficking was one of the biggest. Guess what's one of the biggest in the world now? Child trafficking.
Yeah.
It's one of the biggest. People trafficking, vulnerable people trafficking is one of the biggest. And you know what? I don't know what's the last time you went to a game, but let me tell you something about Jim that Jim's never going to tell you. Majority of stewards are either black, brown, white, working class, but majority of them are cheap labor agency workers. Agency workers, yeah? And they happen to be the people who are struggling the most in the inner city. Some of them are United fans, some of them love football. There are black and brown people who go to that game who want to go and work for United. He got rid of large majority, right, of the original, if you want to go white people that used to work there, because they saw their wages being cut and cut and cut. He got rid of them all. They used to work for the club. Like Irfan explained before, all of it is being put out to by agencies. So I would love to know the next meeting, the next home game Manchester United have. How do you think they're feeling? Majority of kids who are working behind, if you go on the Concord, some of them are kids for the first time in 18, 19, they want to get a job. They're at college. They all want to get a job. Their agency hiring them. They're willing to work for £5 to £6 to £7 an hour. While the counterparts don't want to work for that amount of money. So the workforce, because of his greediness, driving down wages at the football club, predominantly is people who look like me or Irfan. That is what is happening because they're driving down the wages. And he said, how many million did he say, Irfan, that are claiming welfare? How many million did he say?
Hang on a second.
He said something about 9 or 7 million.
No, didn't he say 9 million? 9 million.
9 million.
12 million, yeah.
What he doesn't understand, half of those people are working. They're working, but because the pay in this country, Jarvis, I like to just, for those of you who live in Scandinavia specifically, the wages in this country, in the rate of inflation, it is so that so majority of people who are on welfare, Jarvis, are working. They are working.
Yeah.
But because the businesses don't pay reasonable living wage, that's why they have to claim welfare.
Yeah.
But he's not going to tell you that. Helga, you've joined us. How you doing? Big up.
Hello, I'm good. I've been, like I said in the chat, I've been ill for almost 2 weeks now and been into the hospital. So
is it the same one we've all had? Is it the cold, the horrible nasty
I've had
cold?
it 3 weeks.
Oh.
It took me out, Helga. Yeah.
I had it for
So it's
5
a thing. I've isolated so much I didn't even know it was a thing.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It knocked
I've
me
been,
out. It knocked me out for 3 weeks.
It's
Yeah, okay,
It came that disease from abroad. It migrated there, so it's got to fucking go.
No. I just wanted the reason why I wanted to come on is just that I just had some points that I wanted to say about this because I'm a very like a history geek. So I have done like university for history also, but also in my spare time I'm always like, especially in Europe and stuff. And I just find it like the whole thing just super ridiculous because even when they talk about white people, the white people in England are not fucking English. So it's like, and I while I was watching the stream, I was just writing down some bullet points for myself, and it ended up being this fucking long, and I had to like short it. Because I'm just going to go through like the time period quickly because I started at 00 AD. You say AD?
Yeah, that's right. AD. Yeah.
Yeah.
After Christ.
So I started. Okay, what's the first thing I know about England? Okay, in 40 AD, Romans came there from the Roman Empire.
The Roman invasion. Correct.
Yeah. So they were there for 400 years. So immigrations. They built roads, baths, city structure, like the whole
Louis system. Yep.
The whole city. Okay.
Everything.
And then what happens after the wars? They go because they are needed somewhere else. So the Romans, they go and just leave the native English to themselves. Do you know about history? The Dark Ages. That's where the Dark Ages come. Okay.
It's true. He's right.
Yeah. Everything is true. Everyone can go fact check this.
Yeah.
After so the Romans go, the Dark Ages come. When does it become good again? Oh, it's someone called Anglo-Saxons, and Anglo-Saxons, they are pretty. Those are Englishmen, aren't they? No, they are from Germany, Denmark, and Netherlands. So they come and they fix the country again with the shit they have learned in Denmark, in Germany, and everything. And the British people are like, oh, I can so lay back again. And then the country is fixed again. Oh no, then me and Jarvis comes from north, the Vikings come over. So trading, so language, like written language, they learned from the Romans, from culture, but also they learned the whole trading thing with England and the boats and the connections and to different parts of, they learned that from Vikings. After that, you have the Flemish coming from the
Holland
Flemish
and Belgium.
Yeah.
The Normans.
And they have the Hanseatic.
The Normans are the Huguenots that came from
and the Normans and the Italians. So my point is, if those British lads people take a fucking test, they would be from everywhere else except from the island they claim they are.
Yeah.
that's kind of why I wanted to come on this, is because like they say, oh, immigrants, oh, proper Englishmen. And also, if you take all of the information I just take and you put that to one side, okay, how has England become this force of nature? It's because of colonization of other countries, which they don't want to be done with themselves. So the whole reason why this whole thing is because they're taking shit and colonized and been horrible to so many parts of the world to become rich. And then when people are like, when it's becoming poor kind of in their country, they blame those who have made it rich, but also go back to your country when they are not also from that country or whatever, because immigrants have literally not helped. They've literally built the country from like the first start of AD to so that's why I wanted to come on, because I just think that some things is opinion and some things is just factual, written down, scientific. We learn it in university, and it's just so stupid of those people claiming our country when they do a test, they are literally from Norway, literally from Germany, literally from Italy, France, Irish, Ireland. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, I just wanted to say that because
you're right, Helge. I mean, it was stupid. a very good, simple explanation of how the history of Britain was. I mean, like I said, you've got DNA tests. You realize from all parts. The problem is, like I said, you know, we're born in. I mean, I'm born in and lived here all my life, and you know, the racism thing, it sort of comes and goes, you know, because you know we go through phases where we're struggling again, and then we get better, and then we struggle again, and we go up and down. It's always a cycle. It is, but like I said, I don't know why. I mean, well, actually, I do know why the British will not teach in the curriculums of schools to teach its children what the British Empire did. They only sugarcoat it and make it out like it was a beautiful thing. They'll never tell you how many people they killed, how many lands they plundered, what they did to divide people, because it's some of the most. It makes Epstein look like a little child's play what he did compared to what the British Empire
I understand why they can't teach it to kids as well, but I was just wanting to say the point that Jarvis said also, that I get that what I said is just kind of a simplistic way, and it doesn't help kind of the argument in the political now. I get that, but his argument would kind of like, and I know it's like ideological to say it, but like we all are immigrants. I'm an immigrant. If you go back to the where is the starting lineup? Like that's why I just think this whole thing is so stupid. But obviously it's a big issue, and it has to be. But it's like it's really like, if you go this back, then I'm from Norway. If you go this back, I'm an immigrant. If you go like, and you can do this with all countries in the world, and it's just.
But Helge, you know the maddest thing in Britain and like America, places like that. Yeah. You know what's so crazy? You know how many brown and black people are actually siding with this and think, yeah, we got a problem. You know, you'd be amazed at how many people it hits through that are not even white. That's what blows my brain.
Some people are everywhere.
Yeah. You know, like some black and brown people actually think this is making sense.
Do you know what was funnier, fan? Because you just said they make Jim Ratcliffe look like child's play. Epstein look like child's play.
I don't know if you know, but the British elite are very clever, because if you look at the Labour Party, the Tory Party, they put black and brown people at the top to be the foreign secretary, to actually deliver these laws and stuff and deliver these things. Yeah. So they say, we're not racist. Look, we've got black and brown people at our parties to make the speeches. It's unbelievable. It's very clever what they do, and that's why some people are easily fooled. You know,
it is very clever.
Fooled, you know,
it is very clever, because we all have worked in companies where you have those brown ass lickers that will go against what they self-believe or whatever, just to get where they need to.
Yeah, exactly.
And those people are like, and those people are like, and where do those most exist? It's in police, police, politics, lawyers, kind of
army,
government.
as well,
So they put like those you know, the FBI director, for example, with Trump, who said they just put people in color in those places who will kind of go against what they own believe and their own lived experience, just so people at home can be like, oh, but that's a guy of color saying that, so I guess that.
Yeah.
So as you
No,
say,
no,
they are
racist.
smart.
Yeah.
They are smart.
Yeah.
They are
Yeah.
smart.
Yeah, that's it.
They
Yeah.
are racist.
Yeah.
But they are smart.
I mean, can I ask a question? Where do you think, you know, like he said this now, Jim the Rat has said this. What do you think the backlash is going to be? What do you think?
There's no backlash there, fam, because people have been conditioned to think like this. Majority of the work, there'll be no backlash for the work.
The backlash is us. The backlash is people like this. But the thing is, all these people that Nura is talking about that is in power, it's 60. And I've always said this, like when I was in a philosophy class, we discussed this, and this was like 8 years ago. We discussed this, and we all said kind of like, I can't wait to those 60, 70, 80-year-old white racist pedo men are dead. So the next kind of generation, those who are 50 or whatever now, take over. I think the problem won't get solved because those other people in Belgium or Netherlands or Norway or in UK, those people are the ones who are in charge of the rules, how we do things. Like we have so many rules we could literally change tomorrow, which will make the world a better place. Yeah, but why don't we do it then? It's because the people don't want to do it. Why don't they want to do it? Now ask yourself that question. That's my issue. So
I'm happy to be related to all of you guys.
I agree with Jarvis when Jarvis said we can have an open discussion about this subject, but only under the condition that people are not set in stone in terms of their belief, or they don't have a preconceived notion when it comes to those kind of subject. Because most of the people tend to come into the debate with bad faith argument. But yes, we are all on the front line somehow. I have friends that I've grown up with. I came here. We've been together talking politics, and you can have an open discussion with them. But there is a certain level of conditioning. They moved to another side of the country, to Texas, and now they're defending some things that you will never think they will defend. I have family members that are pastors, and you can have an open discussion about them, but now they're supporting the situation because their faith talk about they have an issue with same-sex marriage and all of that. So all I'm saying is, at the end of the day, we all have a reckoning, and everybody will deal with their own demons later, or their own angel. So
the biggest thing for me is that we can have a debate, and for me, like I said to you, I'm a freedom of speech absolutist, because I will always believe when people like me, who think like me, who have my politics in this country, we will be the first one to be silenced. So if I jump on the bandwagon and say, no, we need to stop people from saying this, then I know that my voice will be buried, because it's counterproductive. Counterproductive. That's the thing about it. So I'm a freedom of speech absolutist, but I'm not going to debate my humanity with you. So if you're going to have a good faith argument or good faith debate, we're going to have a good faith debate about what you think about immigration. Is there too many? How many is too many? What kind of jobs we can have a debate about that, based in facts and in reality. But this figment of the imagination, I cannot have that with you when you think that your country is being taken over and it's being colonized. That I can't have, because Britain is 80-something% white.
But Nuruddin, he used the word colonized, didn't he?
Anglo-Saxon.
Did he use the word colonized, didn't he? He used the word colonized, yeah?
Irfan, he used the word colonized because he's going to our skin color. That's why he's going. He went there. He didn't use any other word. Yeah. He used colonized to say, because to reverse what people say about how black and brown and the global majority of black and brown people in the world are being colonized.
It's got to be the most ignorant, ill.
Irfan, he's very clever. Irfan, it's very clever.
Yeah, but
Irfan,
even
he's
the
very
far
clever.
right
He's not
don't use
ignorant.
that word.
He's not
Even
unintelligent.
Farage,
He's not.
Farage doesn't use
Can
that
we
language.
please stop making that? Racism as a construct was designed and brought about in literature over 600-700 years ago by the elites at the time.
It was,
Race, in terms of what race is as an ideology, was a construct created.
It's a social
by people.
construct.
It is, and that's what was created. There were Tudors, there were black people, there were Asian people, there were so many different people, like Helga said. Vikings, Norwegians, people like all over, wherever people with ships were going all over the place, trading. There were so many different people in so many different places, right? Certain people wanting to go back. So this idea, there were Roman black soldiers who were building the roads and Adrian's Wall and all of this type of stuff, right?
Fact.
Race wasn't something that came later because of capitalism. It came money to be made. Slavery was developed out of capitalism. Chattel slavery was capitalism, so they had to justify it. And then so many Irish indigent servants were taken because of the Holocaust that was done to them, right? In Ireland, the continuation was done by the English, right? That was the first experiment before they colonized
750 years.
It was the Irish starving them people, taking the food from them, and what was the thing? Starvation. It was
a potato famine in 1850s, which killed thousands.
And then loads of them went to America, and that's why where you go, most places in the world, there's an Irish pub. But I'm sorry, Mateo, who's Irish, who's in the chat. It breaks my heart. Somebody like you, who's experienced, who has your forefathers experienced what it is to be suppressed and genocided. You're falling for the same thing as the people who are doing that in different parts of the world.
You mean Miko, Nuruddin? Miko?
No. Mateo saying he feels in Ireland, I think Republic of Ireland, he feels like a second-class citizen in his own country. And that really hurts. That really hurts me. Because Irish are welcomed and loved everywhere in this world. They are literally loved and cared for everywhere in this world because people understand the pain that Irish people went through. And that's why they stick with have solidarity with the Palestinians. They have solidarity with the Cubans. They will have solidarity with all different parts of the world.
We colonize people,
Yeah, with colonized people because they understand. The other thing that what people are not pointing out is that in Britain, especially in Britain, one of the big industries is weapon manufacturing. So wars have to happen in black and brown countries, and they have to sell weapons. Then they get involved in the politics and all of that, and they actually set up wars, and they divide and rule people in West Asia. I don't like calling it the Middle East. That's a colonial term. I like to call it West Asia.
It's West
Asia to get the oil, to rape and pillage. And also, what does that do? That creates a refugee crisis. So then they're wondering why people would come here. Well, stop arming, stop interfering in other countries' businesses and start in conflicts, your wars, so you can make money from trillions from weapon manufacturing, and then you're complaining about people want to come to England.
I have to go. I thought
it's late for these guys. It's late for Jarvis.
Well, listen, Jarvis, you have the last word, Jarvis. We've spoken a lot. You have the last word.
It's just I thought my shape was better than this, but I'm absolutely almost fainting off. I needed to say this.
3 weeks.
This is my favorite outfit of Luani. This class. It's Peaky Blinders, truck driver.
Is that what it's called? Lumberjack fashion, yeah? Is that what it's called?
Lumberjack. Peaky Blinders.
They've got big streets in America. They need chopping down. They've got big ones.
He's doing like a Peaky Blinders collab there. So yeah.
Thank you.
Helga, I hope you get WhatsApp. Send him.
Hey,
feel better.
Get well, bro. Get well, brother.
Talk to you soon.
Okay?
God bless.
Jarvis, we've said a lot. We've said a lot. And I know
leave the last word to Jarvis.
I have siblings who left there to escape the war that were given asylum when the war kicked off in East Africa. So I know there are people in Norway who don't like that black and brown people are there. But I will let you have the last word. Of course, Norway is still predominantly, But can you please tell us a little bit about your history of your indigenous people of Norway?
Yeah.
What are they? Who are they?
That's something that we can talk about, because you matter. The color of his skin doesn't matter. Everybody has their history, as Luani said. Everybody's is in the front line somewhere, and you talk about Greenland, the indigenous people of Greenland, the Inuits. They've been suppressed by Denmark. Now
The
US
kingdoms,
wants
yeah.
them, and all of this. So there's always a struggle somewhere, and even in Norway, you feel that Norway is predominantly white people, but up in the north where I live, you have a lot of indigenous people called the Sami people, and
we know about them.
they have lived through suppression and prosecution for hundreds of years, and it still exists. So I fully understand how it feels, because everybody feels that if you are a white man, you are in a majority, but it's not always like that. But I'm 100% for freedom of speech, because I believe if you're not able to speak really about what bothers us, people will feel the opposite would be suppression, and people will stop talking, and that's the biggest problem. As soon as people stop talking, you will have resentment, and people will go into echo chambers, and they will go there to validate their frustration all the time, and then you get polarization, and that creates real racism. So again, people, we shouldn't, like I said, maybe we shouldn't judge too harsh. We should open a debate as we did today. I think a lot of people who have tuned in today have learned a lot. And I think that's brilliant, because about the British people, about all the subjects we have taken up. So I'm just going to say big up to Nuruddin for creating this place for us to speak about difficult subjects, and that's fantastic. Best YouTube channel ever.
Yeah, big
don't
up.
See this anywhere else.
Big up, Jerry.
Big up. I asked the poll, do you agree with Jim? 23% said yes, 77% said no. I have no hatred in my heart, and I've never have, and I never will, for the 23% who do agree with Jim. I just hope that you genuinely open your eyes. Jim does not care about you. The billionaire class, you already seen from the PDF files what they're doing. Jim doesn't care. Jim laid off 500 people from Carrington working for the football club, predominantly from Carrington. He told them to bring sandwiches, and he said nobody gets a free lunch, and he said they can't eat the fish or can't have the meat, they can have the soup.
He said subsidized lunches are over, Nuruddin. Subsidized are over.
Yeah, and that's who it's about him. He talks about people being on welfare. He laid off 500 people. Where do you think majority of those
He's
people
the biggest hypocrite you can think. He's a classic billionaire hypocrite.
So for me, all I say to you is the 23%, please, anybody of color, of creed, regardless, people are people, human beings are human beings. Those of you, if you have fear, and I understand, Irfan explained before, we've got 5 billionaires who own 85% of the British media. Right? 5 billionaires who control 85% of the British media.
Is that Rupert?
Yes. Rupert and the rest of the gang. And
Rupert,
the
Lord
Barclay
Rothermere,
Barclay, all these other guys.
Richard Desmond.
The 85%, Jarvis, 85%.
You see, if we were a civilized country, we would never allow that much of the media to be controlled by private capital, because they've got their own agendas. It's completely uncivilized, undemocratic. But that's how Britain works.
All I'm saying to you is that these billionaires, the Nigel Farages, Tommy Two Shoes, none of them care about anything about you or your family. You can have total disagreement, but just know that much. And if you are fearing of people who are different to you, then spend some time with them, get to know them, and then you will find out that they're just human, just like you. But for me, I am a freedom of speech absolutist, but I will never have my dehumanized because of the skin of my color, because of my religion, or my ethnicity, or where I'm from in the world. We can have a debate about anything. I'm an open book. But big up to everybody. Please make sure, I want to thank again to Jarvis for stepping in. I really appreciate it. I couldn't start the show at the time that I did. So I really, really, yeah. I mean, so if Israel kidnapped me, Israel has taken over the place where I was born. If you want to talk about colonization, the city where I was born, Israel is taking over. There's Israeli flags flying high in the city where I was born as a child. So yeah, they're everywhere. They're everywhere. So at the end of the day, them killing me, it's not a thing for me. I would rather always fight on my feet than die like a coward anyway. But it is what it is. Live by that. Always live by that. But I just want to say thank you to Jarvis. I really appreciate him for stepping in. Thank you so much. Make sure you follow him on Tactical Devils, the channel. Make sure you check him out on Bowley, BOLE77. If you want a detailed breakdown on last night's game, Stu and Jarvis did a breakdown. I watched that today. I thought it was a fantastic breakdown. I agreed with some of your points. I disagreed with some of the points, but that's football. It's about different opinions. But I agreed with a lot of the things. The breakdown and analysis is first class. So please go and check that channel out. That channel should be on 5K at least. But make sure you follow him, BOLE77. Make sure you follow Luwani, Amanuel Luwani, 1979. Mr. Lumberjack, Peaky Blinder FC. Make sure you follow Irfan Rainey at Irfan Rainey on X and on Insta. And big up to every one of you. Yeah. Come on, live in Ireland. I would love to. I've got some amazing friends who are called comrades who taught me so much about Irish history. I went to Derry. I've been to the Bogside. I've seen it. I've seen about the history of Bloody Sunday. I know about the prisons. I know about suppression. I know the intelligence services from this country, what they've done there. But I promise you, majority of the world of people, wherever I've been in Morocco and saw an Irish bar. An Irish bar cafe, stroke cafe. I saw that, right? I saw that. So at the end of the day, everywhere in this world, there is an Irish pub place to go to. And I always go there because the majority of the United fans, and their families have escaped persecution to go to those countries. So it is what it is. Love and light to every one of you, especially those who disagree and who agree with Jim. Jim don't care about you. But at the end of the day, you've got your own mind. You have your own eyes. It's not up for debate. But you believe in whatever you want to believe. And that's what it is. Love and light, people. Free Palestine. Free the Congo. Free Sudan.
Luan is in trouble.
No, my wife just came in. She's like, "You're on stream again? Go marry soccer."
Yeah. He's already married to soccer. Does he know?
Sherry is not soccer. It's called football.
Is there a bed in that shed, Luani?
Listen, can we apologize?
I think you better
Can we apologize to your wife? Can we apologize to your wife?
No, I'm going back in.
Okay.
Take care.
Are you?
Right.
You think you're going back in?
Oh, come on. Come on, my behave, okay?
Yeah.
Nordin, someone's saying Sean Dyche has been sacked. Is that true?
I don't know. I'll have to check.
I don't think it is.
Right, he did make a quick exit there.
No.
He has to.
Luani,
breaking.
where are you?
Yeah.
It's breaking. Sean Dyche been sacked by Nottingham Forest. Immediate
Has he been
effect.
Wow.
sacked? No.
Yep.
Where? How do you know? Oh shit.
Fabrizio Romano.
Yeah.
It's broken.
Because do you know why? Do you know why? The guy's scared, Irfan, that they're gonna get dragged in, right? And then the guy who he sacked, which is Spiritus Nunos, right?
Yeah, Nuno Spiritus
He is
Santos,
going to get his revenge on the owner of Nottingham Forest and drag Forest
the next
into
game?
relegation.
No, come
That's
on.
why he's scared of.
Come on,
And that's
come
why
on.
he's panicked, because they drew 0-0 tonight
Yeah.
with they drew 0-0 tonight with Wolves, who are bottom of the bottom. So he's scared. The owner of Nottingham Forest is scared that Nuno Spiritus is going to get
him back.
revenge on him, and he's going to keep West Ham up and Nottingham Forest go down. So that's why he's panicked.
Crazy.
Right, fellas.
Crazy.
This is
Big up, listen, big up people, big up Bombaye, big up Jarvis, big up to everybody. Yeah, free the people, free the will. And like we always said, I always knew Jim was a rat.
Yeah.
He spoke like a true rat, but it is what it is. Glazers and Jim can get the F out of here. And if you want to bootleg them, then you can bootleg them. You do. I have a strong, opinionated, passionate opinion. A lot of you have been in the comments and also having a go at Ben. Please stop personalizing it. Disagree with Ben's point of view and his hatred of these vultures. Do not personalize it. Ben has an opinion. Debate his point of views. It was Wilcox who said, and directors of football meet with coaches and talk about the game plan. Yes, they do. They evaluate and they do the pre-sit down. And Wilcox, was somebody who was telling Amorim to change his formation and tactics. So Ben is not saying anything that's not out there. And that's all he asks people. And if some of you got triggered, then it's on you. But big up Ben, sending him love.
Big up the chat too, man. Very.
Big up the chat. Oh yeah, the chat. Big up Khalees.
There's a lot of progressives in the chat. A lot of very smart.
Yeah. Big up. Listen, big up Khalees from Medin Lassie, Chief Editor, and big up all the
Jamie, Khalees, all the people.
All of the mods. Listen, big up all of the mods. All Tactical Devils is Jarvis's channel. Go and subscribe.
They were discussing it on Newsnight today, Nuruddin, what Jim said. I just saw the tweet now.
Well, at the end of the day, and the BBC, you know how I feel about the BBC.
Yeah, we know about the BBC.
They agree, so all of it is BS anyway. The BBC made Nigel Farage. They're responsible for his political career. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But big up and love to everybody. I appreciate you. I have strong opinions, especially about Carrick. I hope I'm wrong. I hope he proves me wrong. I hope he can fix it for everything. But as far as Jim, he knows what he's doing, people. I hope you don't fall for that divide and rule tactics. Good night.
Good night.